let's start.
So behind the scenes, island talk over a Thanksgiving dinner.
I also have the butter.
So what was your inspiration for Yule?
I built backwards, so I was like, all right, so I need Wander to be gone. What's a rationale for Wander to be gone? And I learned a lot about giving you all multiple plot hooks and order, and making things happen faster, and not allowing you all to have dialogue with people. Because you missed like 4 different types of plot hooks that could have been going on in that tavern, because you all were just very in-tuned on one specific conversation. So there was an entire like antagonistic relationship between the 2 leaders, or the 2 people who ruled over Striga, because there was a portal to hell in the middle of the island, and that's why the iceberg was there.
Okay.
And Wander would have been kidnapped by cultists if somebody hadn't convinced her to leave the island, which would have led you all on a merry chase.
So we avoided all that.
Oh yeah, you did.
I remember us being really intrigued about the idea that there's something different about this tavern or something. You said there's like an energy or something. We just kept rolling to try to figure it out.
Yep.
What was it? What were we trying to determine was wrong with that like tavern?
Oh, you were trying to see if like you noticed that there was a really strong divide between the people. Like
I see.
Nobody ever did, mostly because I mentioned the what is it? The stained glass that broke, like the bouncers could throw people with, and everybody was like, "It's magical." And I was like, "Damn it!"
That's where my mind went. I was like, "There's some magical effect we're not picking up or something." That I thought was like entrancing wonder. That's what I thought.
No, she would have been used as a sacrifice.
Casual.
Yeah, and then the guy who was running like a entire syndicate out of Bleak Mornings was actually a devil.
Interesting.
Okay. And then the person who hired you all to run a note to Bleak Mornings, the entire reason she hired you was because assassins were killing everybody else, and they were like, well, I don't really care if these people die, so off you go. And that's why the Snatcher was following you, was to get that note.
I forgot you had a Snatcher.
Mm-hmm. It's the reason you have one printed.
I have one printed.
Or no, it was an invisible stalker, that's what it was.
Makes much more sense.
Okay.
Yeah,
oh,
I know.
that's right, yeah.
Yep.
So they sent like 2 teams after you all, but you kept doing smart things, and so they weren't finding you because they were rolling really shitty on their perceptions.
I remember that.
I remember that too.
Mm-hmm. You all were doing really well at hiding yourselves.
Just not from a Kraken.
Just not from a... No, that one was more or less, I was just like, all right, now I want to have some fun here.
Did the fight with the giant, who was, I assume, one of the big bads?
No, he was just supposed to...
Be an encounter.
Yeah, he was just an encounter. Otherwise, it would have been
I
multiple.
felt sorry for him because we killed him in like 2 rounds.
Yeah, you did. It was really impressive. No, honestly, that one, it was, if that fight had gone on longer, you would have seen cultists pursuing him. But you didn't, so they saw that he died, so they just left. So there were a lot of times where I was like, oh, okay. So it ended up just being a really quick, like, errand for, I think her name was Fabella, who was a priestess of, oh god, who's the ruler in Striga? Levistus. So she was a priestess for Levistus, and she was trying to communicate with one of his devils, who was coordinating an attack to try and like wipe off the cultists who were worshipping somebody else. But you all did a very good job at avoiding notice and being sneaky, so that never came to fruition.
That rarely happens.
I know.
Did you have a favorite NPC that you played?
No, not really. Mostly because the utility of most of them wasn't seen, so it wasn't that much. What I really enjoyed was the Kraken encounter.
So the Kraken is your favorite NPC?
Yeah, I guess the Kraken was my favorite NPC.
Seems like a lot of our best downtime moments involve poop.
No, this was also the island that he got
the plant.
very large rash.
Oh yeah,
Granted,
Yep.
that
Discover
also
Herpetoleptus.
was because you were off taking a shit, so.
Yep, exactly. Yes, because I went to go take a shit. The herpes bush is now a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's real lore.
It's canon.
I mean, Marina got it too.
Yep.
But yeah,
Hope it
so
doesn't spread to Ash.
I feel like it's not that longevity.
When did you decide that you were going to do the House of Primal Delights?
Okay,
Oh, that was bad.
so when you all first approached the island, I don't remember who. I think it might have actually been Ash rolled a really high perception check, and they noticed that like all of the docks that looked really rickety were actually really well hidden and really well like supported. So the entire island had two different like ports, though only one was publicized. And so essentially, the guy there who was in charge of Bleak Mornings was just using it as a funnel for agents of, what is that devil's name? Levistus. So it was an entire port going out and kind of like carrying out his bidding. So a lot of the influx of people going there were people who made deals with him to like save their
Interesting.
life or to get things like that. Yeah.
Or
It was
to
like
access,
just 10-year-long deals.
right?
Yeah.
Or like access like warlock abilities and stuff. So like make a deal with them and stuff. Interesting.
So the House of Primal Delight was just like, that's going to take many forms. It could be an assassin. It could be like somebody who's really good with poison. It could very well be like a courtesan.
Okay.
I didn't expect anybody to like go that far in depth with it. I didn't not expect you to, but I was like, all right, we're going with it.
So you got to improv a lot of that moving in. Yeah, that was one of my favorite moments.
No, a lot of the lore that I built out was just kind of like passing ships in the night that I saw because rolls were rolling a certain way, and I was like, well, this is fine. I have to write my thesis anyways. I cannot DM for more than like 1.5 sessions, so we're gonna roll with it. But yeah,
You did a good job.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely.
So, my question for my character was, Annabelle was clearly interested in Talia.
yeah.
There were times where Talia wasn't herself. Had Quantum not unintentionally saved Talia from leaving, would Annabelle had gotten with Talia?
Yeah, because at some point, I don't know that she would have been trained at, like, the House of Primal Delights or anything, but it's enough of that, like, atmosphere.
The culture just kind of.
Yeah,
Is it
it's very
fair
much of, like, well, you're living in the
Promiscuous.
present and now, so you're going to enjoy what you can while you can. So, yeah. Had Quantum not stopped you.
My pleasure.
Can I get a blue Gatorade, please?
No.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for saving her in Ivana's relationship.
Definitely would have been interesting.
Please.
Anything else? So was there anybody else between while we were apart? Well, actually. There
Well,
was
I was-
one night.
When I was possessed by Bester, though I didn't know it was Bester at the time.
Anything else you want to cover for your island?
What was the biggest bad we could have encountered that you had lined up?
So it wouldn't have been an actual fight, though you could have actually encountered the Kraken in a different way
Okay.
if you'd gone through the center of the island, and that would have been more about like stealthily getting around it, because then it
Or
would have
running.
sent out because then it would have sent out minions. But I have a document that like actually I guess I can pull it up that lists like the 5 or so encounters that I had prepped based on difficulty. So depending on the route you took, you would have encountered different ones, and then depending on how poorly you rolled for stealth, or if you didn't roll for stealth at all, passive perception would have determined who you were encountering along the way.
Interesting. Okay.
But you took the same route, and you rolled real good on your stealth,
Yeah.
which was delightful to see, but it was just very entertaining. Need to go over here. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Everything is delicious, by the way.
Yes.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
You all did great.
So you went to town.
Damn.
I'm right there with you.
How was the apple crisp?
It's delightful.
Good. I've never made it before.
Appley and crispy.
Maybe.
Did you get any? Okay. I just didn't see that on your...
Oh, it's gone now.
Well, yes, I recognize that.
He wasn't there.
Not for very long at all. Hi, Bubby. I am still eating. Where's the wrong one?
You can do it.
I don't know what I can. Oh no, here it is. Let's see. Okay, so you could have encountered a party of Redicans, Maragon, a thing of cultists, Frost Giant, you saw the Invisible Stalker, Kraken, a Yeti, and then I think you all saw the Mammoth.
Yep, we had a diplomatic moment with them.
Yeah, you did. That was interesting.
That was great.
It was. But yeah, so honestly, the most difficult fight that you would have had would probably have been the cultists. But you successfully avoided them like 4 times. So you managed to get out of that.
Our pleasure.
Yeah.
Well, I really enjoyed the opportunity to like showcase Corey's recon history because that hasn't really come into play. But with your island, I got to like actually like he was super serious about it and stuff like that when he's not super serious about most things. So I enjoyed the opportunity to do that.
Was that the first island that we stopped hearing from Chester?
Correct.
It was a lot of fun to see that played out. It was fun to see the dynamic of Quantum and Corey going up the tree and like just continuously dragging. That was something.
And then you had this like gym you were working hard to get, and Tally ended up taking it and feeling guilty about it.
She gave it back to me. Yep. I was like, you lied to me?
There was a lot of really interesting character development on the island that was fun to see, like, the group starting to bond more outside of Skype. That was fun.
It's the first time we got to have Alex as not DM. We got to see Talia in full.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. Good to see her unleashed. Full potential.
We can rate me as a player at the end.
Okay.
Alright.
Anything else?
Not really.
Yule?
Not really. Mostly because at some point, depending on how it goes with, if we ever get my cousins back together, I will probably set it up to run that as another island in that general vicinity, except the Kraken will actually be underground, like in water this time. So I don't really want to give you any more information.
That's fair. Hey, that can't be the Kraken, just my patron.
Oh, it would have been a different Kraken. Trey, there can be multiple.
That's tragic.
Did anybody else have a favorite moment on that island?
It's got to be the trees for me.
Yeah. Like climbing the trees and
Yeah,
stuff.
just
You use your
immovable
move.
rod, immovable rod.
You like slid down and grabbed something, slid right back up.
It's the ice man.
That was awesome.
For me, it was being diplomatic with a mammoth.
Yeah, that was definitely
great.
a highlight. Did you have any highlights from it?
Ash.
I was only there for one day of her island.
Sure, why not? Yeah, that's true.
You rolled the Kraken encounter and then you left.
Yup.
You were there for the House of Proud Light, weren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, Ash was stuck
Yes.
there waiting for Corey.
I wouldn't call that a favorite moment. It was definitely a character highlight moment,
Yes.
not a favorite moment. Ash stuck there trying to read books while they could
Ignoring
hear
the sounds.
everything that's happening.
This chandelier is sweet.
Because it would not have just been you, so Ash would have been like surrounded.
But yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
all the different people. All the different rooms.
As if they're not confused enough.
It's a lot for a 2-year-old to take in.
With only the memories given to her by her parents, which I'm sure were
Right.
great in that realm.
I'm glad you guys have finally started to figure out like the things that are wrong with my character,
Yeah.
the real backstory.
Alright. Any more for the Isle of Yule?
No, I think it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to like build out an idea. I would have liked to have more time with it,
Yeah.
but a lot of those constraints were just because like I was in the middle of writing my thesis.
Yeah.
That leads me to my next question. Would you DM again? Is that something that you really enjoyed doing?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Like I ran half a session for my cousins before I came down with COVID, and that was
fun.
And
That
do
was pure chaos.
do you think that you'd want to do it like as like a short thing for like a short adventure or a whole campaign or what?
I think short things, because it's a lot easier to plan for.
That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Love DMing, but
Yeah, no, I think it would be more fun for me to do it in a short spans, just because I enjoy playing so much. Like
Sure.
DMing was fun, but I really enjoy being a chaos gremlin. And not
We
having to
couldn't tell.
suffer the consequences
We couldn't tell.
in my own world. Yeah.
So, frog people on dead Primus.
Yes, frog people.
Frog
You know I still have a slod cantaloupe in my bag, right?
Do you?
Yes.
You need to let me know when you pull it out.
Yeah, that's gonna have unintended consequences.
What was the inspiration
had
behind
no-
that?
The inspiration was the latest. Do you know the Legend of Drizzt series? The latest trilogy has slot in it, and that was my first time reading about them. So I was like, oh, that'll be fun to run.
Yeah.
So that's where the slot came from, and I just built an island around them.
They're cool creatures. They're also terrifying because
Yes.
they're not necessarily. They're tough, but the worst part about them is they can impregnate you.
Yeah,
And
you not know it.
Yeah, and it doesn't. It's not something that happens immediately. It takes like somewhere 20 days or something like that.
Yeah, for the red slot, if they put the egg in you, it takes about a month. For the blue slot, every day you're losing 10 from your max HP. If you get to 0, you turn, or if you die while infected, you turn.
Yeah. Well, how was building that island? 'Cause you ran it for like a good four or 5 sessions.
Four
I
and a
think.
half, I think.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. A lot of it, the island I built out. I built the places and different routes you can go, and then a lot of it I improvised based on what you were doing there. So the only places I had specifically built out were really the towns, the roads, and the underground caverns, and the
Swamp?
swamp. Yeah, everything else it was based on what you are doing. I would play around with.
So, what is Primus? Like, what was its original? Like, what do they do on Primus?
It
Before
was
I got
a
fucked
lot
up.
of. It was heavily influenced by elementals. So you had the volcano for the fire elementals. You had the underground caverns for the earth. You had the big pond in the middle for the water.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the air was just like holding the island up and everything.
Nice. Okay. I didn't actually get the elements part of it.
Because we had the water elemental
you fought
attack
the
us
water
while we were
elemental,
on
Right,
the
and you
like.
had the air elemental. Yep. Okay.
We never went to the volcano, and I'm pretty sure that would have ended very poorly.
Might have been some fire salamanders. Not a lot of slot go there just because there's no people there. Because it is an active volcano.
So we would have avoided the slots, but would have encountered.
Yeah,
fire
you would have had to
salamander.
figure out a way to get across like a lava stream heading down to the water. And there's no way to get past it unless you found a way past
Everybody
it.
get on Wander's back.
Well, lava's terrifying. I think it's like 8d6 for every round that you're in it.
Fire damage.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's some
Use
absurd number.
lava.
And it's not like you can make a saving throw because you're in the lava.
Right. Yeah, lava's dangerous.
Yes.
Go figure.
Yeah.
How'd you decide on the crash landing being how we get to your island? Because that was unique.
I remember that.
I had a fun conversation with Alex like, hey, how do I destroy an airship?
We'll pay good money for that, bitch.
And really, it was my idea of how to get rid of quantum because since Slod can't infect constructs, they would want to destroy them or get them out of the way as much as possible. So I didn't come across any constructs on the island. And so with a crash, it would also give me an opportunity for you to have potentially see me, Kefa, the one that was impersonating, which I think you made the roll because you woke up first and you didn't roll high enough to get a very good look at her. But depending on what you rolled, I had different details that you'd pick up from her to possibly see later on.
Nice. Okay. Oh yeah.
Is that where we first encountered Kevin?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
How much did you enjoy DMing with Kevin?
Kevin.
Was a thing on my island.
Yes. Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin
Started on yours.
Oh, that was
but
actually.
really.
I think Kevin was the second session in the church after you fought me.
Yeah.
Kevin.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
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 After it blew him up.
Yeah, that was pure just improv. Like, yeah, there's an orc down there, and then you named him first. Like, oh, this is great. Like, I'll come up with the name.
Did he name him?
Oh, I named him.
Yep.
You don't know if that. It doesn't really have an actual name. That is what you have named him.
Well, it turns out, according to Mirawathi, that's his buddy.
Yeah.
He knows all about Kevin Macintosh.
So, how... Was there any way to get through the tunnels without getting, like, all sorts of fucked
Yeah,
around?
that was
Nope,
awful.
because that was a Slod Lord infecting girls' minds. If you had gone on the surface, it would have been no confusion. But in the tunnels, basically every intersection you got to, I would roll a dice. And depending on what number came up on dice, would be the tunnel you actually go down.
Okay.
Because what you're seeing isn't actually what you're seeing.
I see. Okay. That makes sense.
So once you close the portal on the way back, you wouldn't have had any issues in the tunnels because his effect was no longer there.
The encounters with the bullywugs was hilarious.
Yeah. That one I had set up for if you'd gone above ground or below ground as a random roll. For just come across some migrating.
And where did you get the idea for Igor's maze?
It was one of the puzzles, I think it's Santher's Guide or Tasha's Cauldron, one of the preset puzzles in there. And then I just edited it to be Slod instead of, I think they have a Goblin or Kobold as a base one.
Okay. Nice.
But we got through that like in
You
a
all
split.
you all answered all of them.
It's
great.
just Trevor and Trent.
Yes,
They're just
I've ran it
lost
with
their
my brothers
Evelyn
and
hearts.
cousin, and they spent a good 4 hours trying to get through, and they never made it through.
Wow.
They finally made it through.
because they started listening to us.
Yes, because my cousin was getting the answer right, but my brothers wouldn't believe him, so he kept giving the wrong answers. And they just could not get through it. And after every wrong answer, you end up in a combat or other situation that you have to then go back after you defeat them and try again.
That's awful.
Yeah, we
Yes.
did like first try
Yeah.
through. We did that pretty well.
We like word associations.
Yes.
Yes.
And if y'all hadn't gone to the swamp, you would have had to fight the Death Slod before fighting the big bad Slod Lord because you wouldn't have been able to control the cantaloupe.
The cantaloupe.
Yep.
So what was the idea of so how did you come up with the whole big bad situation of like somebody opening the portal and like letting them in? Was there a certain inspiration or just kind of
The idea was, so Slod, they are native to
Limbo.
Limbo,
Mhm.
and so they have to find a way to get to Primus, and so an unexpected portal that went wrong from a wizard was the best way I can think of. Since it's a spell that's gone wrong, that's where I got it flashes between two different parts.
okay.
The
Nice.
plane it was supposed
Two
to go
different,
to.
between Limbo and then one of the planes of hell, which is where the big bad came from. It was a slot from one of the layers of hell, from the swamp layer.
Oh, I remember because
Yeah.
I was like, "What I know," and you were like, "No." I was like, "Okay."
Yep.
And how did you decide like what the wizard tower like each level was gonna be like? And like how did you already have it? Like did you roll a dice to determine what floor we went to, or did each one kind of
No,
like?
I preset it to random ones,
Okay.
and then the puzzles I just came up with. So I think 2 of them were also from Xanthers, and the other ones I just came up with.
And I remember the one that was like on the ground, of the
Yep,
dungeon,
the map.
whatever, that was from.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a cool one. That was a
That's
really
a fun
cool
one.
Yeah.
Did you expect us to loot the place as we went?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am fully aware of your propensity to loot, if not everybody else's.
I took a fucking bar, so
Yep.
Talia took a bathrobe.
Yep.
She did.
Yep. I made sure to have a magic item in the tower that each of you could find that would be somewhat go to with your character. It's like you had the skull that you could put in Chester. You had the side glass, which extends your
Psychic abilities.
your detect thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had one of the jars, and she had another jar. You
And-
had the alchemy jar.
Yeah, and Wander was the one that collected those as like little trinkets throughout and then
Yes.
dispersed them at the end.
Yep.
With the exception of the psionic spyglass.
So, what was your favorite moment on the island?
Oh, my favorite moment. So good question.
Oh shit, I have a question after this.
Let's see. It's either gotta be her panicking from being inside the stomach of the devil slod, or the bullywug. So that was meant as just a fun jokes counter,
Yeah.
where they don't realize how strong you are, and
to
you just
break
fuck
the
them up.
tension.
Yep.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh, okay, right. Sorry, my boss just messaged me. Okay. How long was the black slod there that night that we were keeping watch, and then all of a sudden he just like popped up next to me, and I was like, "Shut
Oh yeah, when they took over Marina.
Mm-hmm.
No.
No. When we were,
Oh,
When
at
we were in the
outpost.
tower.
Oh, at the tower. That's right.
Because I thought it was something with Talia.
Well, okay. Can I give away what happened? What Talia did?
Yeah, because that's done and over
Okay,
with.
so Talia got taken over at Vesper that night, and she called to the slot and tracked them to the tower.
Ah, I see.
What an asshole.
But
Yes.
I mean, he had no idea why I was doing
Yeah.
that.
Yep. So I was getting messages of she looks out to the slot mine and tells to the slot's mind and tells them that we're here and to come get us.
Damn.
I was like, okay. So then you had the red slot who don't have any magic abilities at the bottom clawing to get in. I think it was the gray slot.
That's one.
They can. I think I don't remember if it's teleport or fly temporarily. It's one of their spells. But then they got to the roof, and you all had the hatch open. So you could just drop fireballs down on top of you.
And I made or you were like something's on the roof with you, and I was like, I'm gonna die for it. Causing strength checks. You failed.
Yep. They have basically all slot have resistance to magic, so they get advantage on every attack against magic saves.
Oh wow!
Which is why they kept the Del Slot with his save pluses was able to save almost all of your all's attacks.
Yep.
Damn.
As a real bitch.
Yeah.
Did I deliver killing blow to him?
Yes.
I thought
Pretty
so
sure,
because she was pissed that Wander was inside and she really wanted to not lose her friend.
Yep.
Wander was also pissed she was inside.
Yeah, I nerfed the stats for all the normal slots. Then I have a lesser Toad Devil than the Toad Lord, and I merged the lesser and normal Toad Devil for the big battlefield pot.
Well, I really enjoyed that when we first got to the city, the main, I forget what it was called, the one on the opposite of the island where our goal was.
Flocky?
Yes.
Or Picton. Picton was the first one you started at.
Picton,
Yep.
because Flocky was the one we had to get to. I like that when we had our opportunity to kind of explore, we all did our own little thing.
Yeah.
We had kind of something there for all of us to participate in. That was nice. That was really cool.
Yeah, that stuff I kept open because I didn't super plan out because I knew you would all have different stuff that you would want to look at. So I just kind of left it open for me to build on as we go and improv it.
Nice. You did a good job with that.
Appreciate
A lot
it.
of it didn't feel improv; it felt natural. So felt like it was already
It was hard to
pre-staged.
pull off.
Yes, it looked pre-staged.
It helped that it really helped just making the island because I knew what was going on, everything's going on, so I can improv what would be there because I already know what kind of stuff exists.
Yeah. And of course, the map was awesome. Having the little where you can layer them and stuff and see the map, the tunnels as they go into the outposts. That was pretty cool. I liked that a lot. I really enjoyed testing the slots, seeing what their strength was like. Did we throw you for any loops?
Ooh. Let's see.
We were lower level then, so
You were lower level.
And we didn't have quantum fucking contingencies.
Let's see. Any loops? Probably the zigzag course you all take because you started just go all the way through your tunnels, and then you went up on the surface, went back down, ended up on the opposite side of the island, then went to the town, to the boat, across to the swamp.
Yeah.
So I was not expecting you to go all the way over here, all the way back, to all the way back, and then up to Flocky.
Hey, we found our way.
You did eventually find your way. Yeah.
Eventually.
It was fun watching you as Corey trying to work out the map. Even though I'm sitting here it's not going to work.
Right. I had to role play.
But you did a pretty good job keeping track of where you ended up.
Yeah.
I think you only got mixed up once.
Oh, and gosh,
Yeah.
and that's the time that we ended up in the Myconid cave and we
Yes.
started hallucinating.
And I had a feeling that I fucked up on that one. I'm like, yeah. I
Yeah,
don't think
because
we're-
that one, there were two different parts where you want to go to place at a 3 tunnel intersection, and then you
Yeah.
end up at the other place at 3 tunnel intersection.
Yeah.
And that's where you got thrown off.
Yes.
one of the slots took over Marina.
The green
yeah, the
slot on the
beginning
way
of
down.
that
Yeah,
crash.
Yeah.
I was I was thinking it was later on. I was like, I don't remember that.
What was the purpose of Mushroom Cave?
That was just a fun random encounter they set up. I was like, my comments are fun and they grow underground. This would be a good time to use them.
You had the behemoth painted at that point too.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a potential that we would end up combat.
If you had been aggressive, it would have been combat, yeah. But you
How do you
all
think we would
played
have done with
passive.
that combat?
They have a lot of charming and stunning spore attacks.
Yeah, they're not that powerful.
No, but their spores can really just take you out of the battle for a couple rounds, and that's where it adds up.
yeah.
So it would depend on your saving throws, how you would have done.
So Talia would have been fine, but everybody
Probably.
else maybe not.
Well, I don't know. At
No
that
wonder.
point, yeah, but I was actually thinking, you're the worst one with charm saves. Maybe we right.
Yeah. But it would have been multiple mushrooms sending out spores.
Magic mushrooms. So
Yes. Yes.
Well, Corey scarred for life.
yeah. Yeah, they wonder hitting him a mushroom. You're like, no.
Gwen,
Yeah.
Gwen tried to present him
Yeah,
with a
that
mushroom.
Uh-huh.
Get
this
away from me.
Didn't take the flower.
I didn't connect that at all when I did it. I was just like, he's a mountain man. He might like a mushroom.
Yeah, I think you'll explore a lot of the pre-sub stuff I had, except there is a puzzle in the cave under the volcano for a Dwarven Forge.
So was that like the biggest thing we missed then?
I think that was like the biggest thing you missed. I think it's the only pre-set up thing that you'll actually miss. 'Cause otherwise, you went through everywhere.
We didn't go through that one town that was like on the north shore of the lake.
Yeah, but it was the same as the other destroyed towns.
I'm gonna say it was like a
Yep.
abandoned town,
Yep.
essentially. Just
And that was closest to Flocky, so been the most overrun by the slod.
Oh, I know. There's a reason why we go swam.
Yes.
yeah. What do you think of that whole thing? Like going through the water and like finding the ship and
It was one thing I had planned because Fox actually recommended it as one of the things you can do. You just started at a different coastal town.
yeah.
So I was mildly excited for that, but I was like, oh, you're going around this way, start from here, then going across. Okay. And then I also had, in the water, depending on where in the lake you went, like in the deeper part of the lake, it was more likely to face elementals versus the shallows, less likely.
Okay, gotcha. So when he was doing stuff with Talia when she wasn't Talia, you weren't aware of like
I didn't know why it was happening. He was
you
like,
just knew
this
what
is
she was
what's
doing,
happening.
but
Yep.
you didn't. Okay, so
Yeah.
okay, that's
He
good.
just
Cool.
told me her eyes are this color and she's doing this, and I was like, okay.
I don't know what that means.
So when she was doing that thing where she was walking over us and like seeing into our dreams,
Was that Bester?
that was Bester, wasn't it? Because he said something very strange. He said "strange company" or something like that.
Yeah,
And he was
it's-
looking at us, and I'm like, "That's really weird. Like that's like someone else."
Yeah, yeah. I think you made a couple of derogatory comments about you guys.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting.
It was funny to start seeing that play out because I knew from the beginning what was happening
Yeah,
with
or
the
not
character. And
Okay.
so when I talked with him in session 0, when I talked with him about Talia's character, he introduced me to a lot of the background and I worked some of that into my island.
Which I
'Cause-
appreciate.
Right, because
Turn that
he
around.
never gets to deal with any like character development, not for real. And so I leaned into it so that he could really do something with the character, and so it worked really well that we went to your island first, and then it was my island
You got a
because I
sneak
think
peek.
the way that development happened, it was very natural.
Right, so it's slow and
It was terrifying, dude. I was like, well, I want to get into it, but I also don't want to like make them suspicious like, right now.
Right, and I was like, he's walking a line. You walked it very well though.
Yeah. I knew something was going on, but in all honesty, I could never remember what color Talia's eyes actually were. So I'm like, what color are Talia's eyes right now? Brown. Shit.
I don't know if that's normal or not.
I was like, I know it's
we're
something
like,
about
okay, they're brown. Great.
I was like, I know it's something about the eyes, but I just don't remember my base points.
Yep. Yeah, we all did that. I couldn't remember either. I still can't remember.
So I love the fact there were times where she wasn't her, but she didn't do anything because he's also not stupid. He realized there's a bunch of demon frogs around. It's like, okay, maybe I shouldn't fuck with them right now.
Until we got to the point with the gray slot, apparently, in which case he was like, I need to cut my losses. That was wild.
We also got to see Ash's first fatality.
Yeah.
That was the first time
That
we being,
was,
like,
I think that
outwardly
was a
aggressive.
big character moment, character
Yeah.
development, because up to that point, Ash had basically been denying the fact that they were part vampire.
Right.
Yeah.
That they were a vampire. And absolutely refused to do any damage. Everything that they were doing was supposed to be helping others, healing others. And then Ash is put to that point where he has to use his fangs.
Well, I
because
mean,
that's the
yeah.
only alternative, and then we get our first fatality.
Yeah.
And so that island opened the door for Ash to start doing things, and Ash has started causing damage.
Oh, yeah.
He's
More chaos.
become a little bit more of a chaos gremlin, but he's also a lot more controlled than I think his mother. Or
He
grandmother
hasn't
were.
let into it yet.
Right,
Right.
And it played really
Yeah.
well because the slot that she ended up doing that to was the one that was holding her captive,
Yep.
and all that stuff. And it was a good moment it was a good bonding moment with Corey and Ash because that's the only reason I have it is because Corey got
Yep.
a nat 20 and I was like, can I? May I?
Please, my lord.
And he was just shocked. He's like, I was like, think you were gonna punch him, but okay.
Strange people I've ended up with.
It's like, woo, that was intense.
If I remember correctly,
I
that was the one that was masquerading as a little girl.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
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 Not creepy at all.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, the shape changing was a lot of fun to play with.
Yeah. Yeah, that was cool to see too. It was like not knowing who was now
Yeah.
working with the slots once we learned that they could shape
Or
shift
who
over.
actually was a slod.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly. Yep. And like the whole like having to balance in combat, like the people and stuff like that. We did that like one time with that big arena fight where the ooze came out.
Oh,
We
yeah,
had
the
people.
bar.
But this one was more like directly involved with like grabbing the people and like actually escorting them out and stuff.
Yeah.
I like adding that component to the combat. Give it more dimension.
It adds more challenge too.
Yeah, it's like try to save his
Depending on what your alignment is.
Right.
Yeah.
Corey. Wanta doesn't give a shit. Lists are useful.
Well, at some point, you don't want more slod, so you want to save the people.
That's
because
right.
more slod is bad slod. Yeah.
So having DM now for us, is it something you would want to do again? Short term, long term?
Probably. I actually have an idea for a longer campaign that I've been adding to. It wouldn't be for like another 2 or 3 campaigns, but
Still, it's exciting.
yes.
My precious. He closes down his computer screen whenever I turn around.
It's like you
We're
can't
both
get
working up
sneak
there.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's awesome.
it is legitimately the size of a TV. I promise you, I'm not trying to look. It's just there.
Yeah, I think one of the most fun fights was probably either the BBEG or the Tadpole one, shows how dynamic it was.
Yes.
With
Yeah,
all the
that was
rounds
cool.
and how progressive it was.
Yep, that was cool.
And then followed up by you figuring out Mikefo was actually a slot.
Yep. That was awesome. Yep, overall, that was awesome.
What was the name of the main slot? The big purple one? Did he have a name?
He was just a lesser toad demon. The Slod Lord is Grom.
Okay, that's why I wrote that down.
Yeah.
I was like, who the hell is Grom?
Yeah,
I wrote down without any other notes. I was like,
He's the Lord that's in the hills, and the one that is in the one that was causing the confusion in the tunnels. I think is Yalsagath. I
Yeah.
can't remember. Let's see. Oh no, the one for that caused confusion is Sendam. He's a large golden slod.
sexy.
Right.
He fucks with your mind,
Nice.
or not. Even if he's not directly affecting your mind, he'll change what things look like. So that way he may not be in your mind, but it still looks different
I
than
still
it actually
want to
is.
know if we had had a piece of chalk and had been like walking with the chalk along the walls, would we have been able to figure out better?
No, because he was changing the appearance of the walls, not directly affecting you all, so he could have just hid that.
What if it was magic chalk?
What if I had blind sight?
Ooh.
Blind sight doesn't see through illusions. True sight, you wouldn't be able to see
Yes, true.
what was actually going on.
Okay. It's important.
Yes, true sight would let you see through the illusions.
Wander has a new
If
item.
any of y'all actually did a high enough Arcana check, you would have known that there were illusions going on.
Okay. Yeah, we didn't do that.
Yeah, if you pretty sure you all roll Arcana, you were roll high enough to know that there's magic diffusing.
Yeah, we
illusion
knew-
magic diffusing the caves, but you couldn't.
We
didn't
knew
know
that, but we
anymore.
couldn't see through
Yeah.
it at some point.
Yeah.
I gotcha. Well,
So Elizabeth,
Yeah.
with
the
Miriam Isles,
Yep.
what was your inspiration?
So there's these Chinese manhwa that deal with Miriam tales, which are tales of individuals who are martial arts practitioners, and they exist in essentially a martial arts world. And so my jumping off point was I had read like 3 Miriam manhwa back to back.
Yeah.
And so I was just kind of in the mindset, and I came up with the idea for the Miriam Isles, with the schools
Perfect.
for learning the martial arts,
Amazing.
the sects, because that's what they're typically referred to as. And of course, you guys turn that into sects all the
I'm
time.
so sorry.
In our defense,
In our defense,
what do you do?
if you listen to the recording, you also said sex a couple
Yes.
times.
Yes,
Well,
because
accident. It's so hard
yes,
not to say
sects.
to add the T in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's we couldn't
Yep.
stop laughing. Demon sex.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a thing.
Okay, that's interesting.
But that was really great because I'm a huge fan of like karate movies, and Dragon Ball Z was something I loved. So it reminded me a lot about that. So it
Yeah.
definitely felt like an island that could have been expanded to a whole campaign. Frankly.
Oh yeah, there was a lot
Schools.
that you guys missed on that
I'm
island.
sure.
I'm telling you, because you took You took a couple curveballs, and that actually took things off the plate. And you skipped some things.
Oh, did we do some H tears?
Yeah, well, we attracted a giant robot, and then we broke in.
Yep.
Actually, no, we broke in first, didn't we?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we broke in first, and literally the next morning at 6 a.m. we're out causing trouble
So it wasn't
again.
just your island where we pulled some stupid shit.
No. You guys pulled some really big, stupid shit on my island. I was, of all the possibilities, storming the castle, the main, the headmaster's hall was not one of the possible scenarios, because I just thought there's no way they're stupid enough.
True neutral. It'll happen.
Say, that was a good idea.
It's within the.
He said we gotta let this guy know.
Mm-hmm.
We
This is important.
Right, we
Oh,
gotta
you
talk
want
to this guy.
right there? I can get us right there.
Right, it's like,
Problem solved.
is gate
Yeah,
in your way?
And what that did for you guys was it meant that a lot of you couldn't be ambassadors, which means
Yes.
a lot that you guys couldn't carry those things that you learned
Yep.
as long-term character traits, which was something I purposely built into the island so that we could vary our character structures a little bit to give us more ways to develop our characters.
And you put a smudge on Corey's criminal record.
I still heard
record.
that. Stop crying, damn it. Never been a fugitive before? No.
And then, of course, Quantum going and ending up pissing off a retriever, so...
Retrievers are fun.
Just walk into the teleporter without saying anything. It's like, did you tell it where you wanted to go?
No.
No? Were we supposed to?
Quantum
Yeah,
was
I
like,
said the
I'm
name of the
not
island, I should say
Right.
the name of the tier. I didn't realize that was a
Exactly.
thing. Every other island is just, just say the name of the island.
You're there.
Yep.
I tried to
That's
extrapolate, and I did not extrapolate well.
No, you did
Very in
not.
character for Quantum,
Very in
though.
character, yes.
Yeah.
Did you legitimately forget? Or did you...
Oh no, I learned a lot. It would just be normal to go on. It's like, oh, this makes sense. They've all just been to say the name of the island, so Quantum will just go up. He thinks he has it figured out, say the name of the island.
Yeah.
And then what was the inspiration behind, like, the different schools?
So typically it's part of the Miriam idea set. So there's typically different types of schools, and the schools interact with each other. And you typically have good schools and evil schools and more neutral schools. And so I had the set of three. So I had the neutral school, which was the Jade Aura Alliance, who ended up being the bad guy in this case. And then you had the Blood Demon sect, which is typically the evil sect, but was actually not your enemy. And then you had the Sword Aura Alliance, which was the good guys, and the ones that I expected you to gravitate towards to help you out a lot, which
None
you guys
of us
didn't.
joined.
No, none of you did. Which is part of why Nim did not become a part of the group, and you missed out on some stuff because you didn't have the extra guidance.
I still had a date with Nim. It was great.
I was...
Yeah, but by that point, you'd burned a lot of bridges.
Oh, yeah, no. Whatever's fine with that.
I've been wondering about her. I was like, I wonder what she's up to. And I've been thinking about that, like, while we were on his island. I was like, I wonder what she's doing right now. What is she doing right now? Are we allowed to know?
She is still cleaning up your messes. So...
Oh please, the mess is already there. They just didn't
We
know
just
about it.
illuminated it.
We just trying to blacklight to it.
You know,
Yeah.
a good deep
Well,
clean
like the
starts with
fact
more
that
mess.
you killed, what's her name?
Um,
I forgot her
my
name.
friend?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they,
Oh,
I
yeah.
left that for after you guys left the island.
That crazy.
Yeah,
moment.
so she's dead. And by the way, they know that you killed her, so you probably specifically should not go back to the islands. Just saying.
Hey, Quantum's still good to go back and leave whenever he wants.
Also, you
Right.
guys missed some information on that island. You guys could have returned those souls. But your question was, what would happen if I opened all the things? And so, if you'd opened them all, it would have been chaos. But there are things that you could have done to reverse the process, and you could have saved hundreds of lives, including returning half of the soul to his friend, and so his friend would be back in the same state,
Yeah.
but at least alive still.
I did not
Little
enjoy
bit
that
off.
moment, but I was like, I don't know what else he would do. He sees her as a traitor.
Yep.
He's a fucking asshole.
Yep.
What did we have to do to return the souls or anything like that? Was there like a lever or like a room that we didn't find or?
There was a ritual you would have had to perform, but the ritual was written out and it was in Bester's study. It was just missed.
Where was Bester's study again?
It was
In the the mansion.
I still
Eldest
have
Hall.
papers from
Jador
that.
Alliance.
I did not give.
It might be in those papers because you never handed those papers over.
I gave some of them back. Wander is very good about giving some of what you ask for.
How did you start with adding like the telecore stuff into that story?
It helped that I hadn't built out the end game yet. I'm really good at that, like starting with the ideas and starting with the edges and then building in and getting to the core story. And so it helped that I did that. And that I just started with the general concept and then built in towards the storyline so that it didn't matter so much that before I met you and we talked about the background and whatnot. And I figured it just kind of made sense. And that it was kind of a fun way to play, especially with the Jador Alliance being a very psychic kind of group, psychic-based group, that it just kind of made sense. And it fit very well. And I liked the idea of playing with your whole concept and understanding of what telecore was. Yeah, it wasn't a one-off organization in one small group.
No.
It was well beyond anything that you knew.
So is that your construction then? Like the whole, like the depth of telecore?
Mm-hmm. He, when he pitched telecore to me, it was a smaller group in one city and they were trying to expand out. And Bester was the head of it. And so I went with this idea, well, what if Bester was the head, but it wasn't one small group? Because he doesn't want the groups to know about each other.
So he has separate cells. That
Because then you've got cells that you're dealing with, and then he might be the head honcho, and he's looking for the more gifted individuals, and in this case, that was Talia. Because I think Talia has made herself out to be a very gifted, higher tier
You're definitely very gifted. You're very special.
Very good diplomat.
And when her and I met for coffee, I told her, I was like, I don't know what the relationship is going to be like with Talia at the time. So if they end up deciding that we're just going to fucking kill her, that's fine. You don't have to save me. I was totally on board with that being a reality.
Yeah, that was not going to happen.
By that point, we were all like, this is my emotional
And that was part
support.
of why we had Nim. Because there was chance that you guys could have killed Ash, as much as I was trying to use plot armor, that it only gets you so far. So there was chance that Ash could die depending on what you guys did. If you didn't go to get Ash help, Ash would have died. Mm-hmm. If you didn't follow through and go to the islands, well, that ruins the islands. Ash is dead.
Marina would not have allowed that to happen.
Marina was definitely helpful. So that was part of why I built Nim the way that I built Nim, so that either one of us could have picked up with Nim if you'd wanted, or you could have
I
built a
had
character.
backup.
Yeah, so. Yep, and then you guys missed some really fun, really cool things.
Like what?
Well, so those training rooms, neither of them told you anything. So for every hour they spent in that training room, they gained 1 AC. So those pills where you lose AC, they gained them back. And if you gain 3 AC, you just keep them. So you can negate the effect of the pills.
How long did you spend in that training room?
2 hours.
It was like 2 hours.
2 hours.
Oh, but it was before you took the pill? Was it after you took the pill?
It was before. It was the first day, I think.
Yeah, but would it have been like, you took the blood pill, you go into the training room after, and you gain the AC back?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, because I was like, well, so yes, it's broken, but at the same time, I have to, like, give them a chance to really use it. And so that was how that was built. But neither of you shared the information that you were gaining. Yeah. You gained 1 AC as well. I texted it to you over Discord.
Did I think it was a temporary AC?
Well, it was temporary, but if you gained all 3,
Oh yeah, I had no idea.
it would have just undone the effects of the pill.
And we were also pretty traumatized.
It did not help that you guys were rolling really low saves.
I was doing more or less fine. It's you who was consistently having to save that was really struggling.
It was
And the healing pools, you guys eventually just forgot about the healing pools.
Well, honestly, at some point, I just thought those were in the hotel, and I was like, I'm not going back there.
Yeah.
I was like, that's on a different island. That's not my concern right now. We're going on.
We're going on.
So I feel like it definitely needs to happen where the boy that Quantum killed needs to come back as either a bad guy or as part of one of our future parties.
It needs to. It
Yes,
needs to.
absolutely.
There was always supposed to be a boy in there. Like it was always in my notes that was supposed to be a child. He was supposed to be helpful to you guys. But you came in and you just went boom, and I was like, well, there goes his help.
Well, I said, what I see, you said you see two people. I was like, okay.
Well, because that was what you rolled for. Didn't do anything else with that.
There are some children that are bigger than others, so it could have been.
Yeah.
Into your true neutral self. It's just people.
Like, oh, just two
people
people?
are people.
And I'm assuming that everyone in here is bad at this point.
Yep,
Have
that's
steps.
just the younger people.
They
What
messed
was the
with
boy's
Talia?
name? Did the boy have a name?
We found out because we rescued him, right? I mean, we like tied him up and took him
Ash
back.
revived him.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Ash revived him and then used her spiritual weapon, her lasso, to lasso him and take him to the portal. So I don't know what they ended up doing with him. We didn't make it a point to go talk to him. It's like, hey.
It's like, better, some things are better left unsaid.
I think if Quantum had tried, we would have been like,
It'll
no.
be a good plot hook for something in the
Right.
future.
Draven, by the way. His name was
I'm
Draven.
gonna write
A
that
revenge
down.
arc.
That was an amazing part of the whole combat. I did not see that. You and I grabbed the two guards and put them in, and then he
That was
runs
so
out
much
in like 6 seconds. We pull these people in, and he runs straight to the first room, and we hear someone screaming.
That was a really high pitched scream.
No, please! It's his dad. Sitting there playing the piano, just playing a song for his boy.
And then you guys missed Talia's soul the first time
Yes.
through.
Yeah.
It was a bad perception roll. It was just a bad
Those
perception
get us
roll.
every time. It's always on the important ones.
Yep, it took us a week to fucking find it.
This is why I don't have, are any of us playing high wisdom characters right now?
Ash me.
Okay.
I mean, my guy's... I mean, he's high, his perception's much higher now that I got rogue abilities and I put expertise in it. So
Yeah.
But
That's good.
beforehand, no. On
This
that
is just-
island,
yeah,
no.
I
It's
got
the first
+1.
time I'm playing a poor, low wisdom character in
Yeah.
comparison to intelligence, so it's really weird to be like, roll perception. Can it be insight?
For investigation.
Yeah.
Right.
My better +1
Yeah.
and +0 might actually be +0.
And if you guys had done more on the training grounds, you guys know that island where you random teleported. If you guys had worked your way up the tiers, and defeated the monsters that were asked for on the board at every tier, because every tier is a different environment, and it's a different level of monster. And so the higher up you went, the harder the monsters would have gotten. And I can't remember, it was either you had to fight either the retriever or I think they were harpies in the ancient forest, which is the second to highest tier. So I random rolled which tier you ended up on, and I was like, fuck.
How much health did the retriever have?
Huh?
They have
How
a
much
lot.
health did the retriever have?
250.
Yes.
That would have taken us a while to be if we even were
I
able to
think
pull that off.
it
Yeah.
was
They have a shit ton
immune.
of,
It was immune to
resistances.
lightning damage
Yeah.
or thunder damage. One
They
of
have
the
a shit
ones.
ton of resistances.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
one of the ones we tried to use against it. You're like, it didn't do anything.
And if he had just been kept teleporting back and forth between the
It would've
layers, it
killed
would have eventually killed it.
Yeah.
Or it would have killed it, or it would have run out of legendary actions, because it had a limited number of legendary actions, and then that would have been it.
Letting him take care of it.
No, because at some point he just like started booking it, and we're like, all right.
Yep.
Yep. So if you guys had done that, if you'd gone and you like defeated those monsters, you could have gained a guardian symbol, a guardian's crystal, because there were two different types of crystals that you could have earned for your job position. So you guys we got the
School ones.
we all got the school
Ambassador.
ones. We got the ambassador ones, and then there were two others. There was one for the guards and one's for the healers. And the guards would have given us access to Elder's Hall. So you wouldn't have had to storm the castle and lose ambassadorship for the three of you. And then the other one, the healers, if you guys had done more at the healers place, Talia specifically was set up for Talia. You would have gained the healers one, and that one just gives you an extra spell. So it gives you a spell that you use through this crystal. It's just a healer spell.
And how do you think the final combat went between them and Telecor?
I think it went okay. It was definitely very interesting, I think.
It was funny to watch everybody go silent was when I was like, okay, I'm gonna throw the necklace.
Yep. And I was like, oh.
The whole fucking thing, huh? Reddit, Corey.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Goes around corners. I think
Yeah.
Ash immediately went down.
Uh-huh.
Ash immediately went down.
Ash immediately went down. And you guys didn't talk to Blaze much, so you didn't really find much out about that relationship. Which is part of why I talked a little bit about Ash's past on your island, because you guys missed all of that.
There was a lot going on.
Yes, there was. I had lots of opportunities for you guys. So.
We were just so dedicated to our questions that we were
Yes,
like,
you were.
you may have paths. I prefer the grass.
I was like, okay. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And you guys, because of the way that you played things, you missed the signs that the people in the Jador Alliance, that they were disappearing.
Because we spent so much
I
time
know,
on the
we're
Blood
like
Demon
away,
side.
right? And we even started sharing
We-
dorms.
We were like, Talia is in danger, therefore we spend all of our time with Talia, so nobody goes over to the Jador Alliance.
Right. So
Meanwhile, all the
missed
clues,
all the signs.
all the clues are right there, happening while we're sleeping over in the Blood Demon sector. Nice.
I was like, okay. Well, I did it the way you guys wanted, so.
That was good. Did you know from the beginning that it was going to end with a wish tree if we did things correctly?
Yes, if you did
Okay.
things correctly. That was a possibility, but it wasn't a guarantee.
Okay.
What was the worst case scenario if everything had gone wrong? So
You
I know
guys have been
Talia
kicked
could've
off the
died.
island.
Would the island have been lost
Just
to the back
kick us
people
out.
on Jador?
Would they have been lost to Teleport?
Been lost to Telecor.
Yep. And Telecor would have branched out and left the island. So it would have been like a permanent kind of effect on the whole world.
Yep.
Because there were still active cells. And I would have talked to Alex about that.
I mean, it also doesn't necessarily mean that they're just gone because
Right.
I mean,
That could just be one of the cells.
Yeah, exactly.
whoever survived the assault on Baldur's Gate.
It leaves a lot open for future campaign.
Yeah.
I think I created a future super bad.
Did you expect us to deal with a Sapphire Dragon in that way?
No. You guys went like way half cocked, but it was a thing. So
That was fun.
I'm glad it worked the way it worked.
Me too. I'm glad that Corey gets that development with.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Because I was hopeful you guys were going to bring extra people with you, and then you could have waited for the dragon to leave the lair, because the dragon does leave the lair, and then gone in and gotten one of the flowers.
Oh, okay.
So, in theory, if we let's say we didn't have that interaction with the dragon, we either fought it or waited for it to go away, would that have changed your entire character where you wouldn't have done the rogue stuff?
Correct.
Yeah.
The only reason I did rogue was because of Rayon.
I thought so.
Yep, I was going to continue to just go into monk. Yep, that's the only
It
reason.
opened a huge path for your
Yes.
character.
Oh yeah, that was my favorite. Like other than the tournament, which was a real big highlight.
Tournament was a lot of fun.
Having that
I had-
as my wish and getting a companion like that.
That was so
great.
hard to set up, though, the idea of the tournament. And I was like, I can't sit here and actually run a tournament. Like, as much as
Yeah.
I really wanted to, I was like,
It
that would
would've
take
been
days.
2 sessions just for tournament.
It would be
combats.
fun to do that for like a full campaign where we have like a lot of time to devote to that
Yeah.
because I would love because I mean Yu Yu Hakusho had the best arc was the Dark Tournament saga, and then Dragon Ball Z of course had great tournament stuff too. But yeah,
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with the tournament, and my one character who started throwing the B word. I was like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing.
What was your goal again? By meeting with your competitor beforehand, what were you trying to do?
just to be nice. That's just how she is. She just
Okay,
wants
just
to be
like-
nice. Be like, hey,
Be a
no
good
matter
sport.
how it goes, and hard feelings. It was really Talia at that time.
Yeah.
So.
And I was messaging him.
Bester just would have killed her.
I was messaging Alex like the whole island, like things that were happening, so that he knew when he was playing Bester.
Right.
But trying also not to give you
Right.
too much.
But
You did a good
before, in some instances, though, I had like a whole chart where I was like rolling a D100, and it would get harder each time for me to not
Right.
for me to resist that. So it's like, for instance, if it was a
Were you-
35, I would have to roll higher than that, and then it would just get harder and harder.
And were you about to go full Bester anyway when that happened?
At what point?
When you were taken and they did the ritual and you became full Bester and
Pretty
then
much.
moved Talia?
Yeah.
Okay. So it was just really good timing, I think.
Yep. Somehow it worked out.
Because we both had very limited information. Like, I knew, but I also didn't know, if you guys know what I mean.
The pacing was really, really good. Like, it paced really well for, like, we didn't really see much on your island, just, like, maybe something, and then we saw, like, some just, like, weird shit. Like, what the fuck is going on? And then yours has started to come more into fruition.
I think you would really shine if you ran a campaign out of Strixhaven. Like, I think with having that with the schools and stuff, it's very Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Yes.
That'd be fun.
But
Oh, that would be a lot of fun.
yeah. But I mean, great job overall.
Thank you. I'll be honest, as long as you guys enjoy my style of DMing, I have a lot of fun DMing. I actually prefer, I think, DMing over playing. I enjoy playing,
Yeah.
but I think I do better with the DMing portion.
Why
I'm
do
just quiet as a player. Let's be real.
Well, I mean, when you played Millennial a couple weeks ago, she was very vocal. Which was
But it's
cool.
easier because it was the two
Just
of
two
us
of us,
versus the four of us. Because I'm quiet as a person, especially in a group.
Yeah.
I like to let other people talk first, so it's harder for me to play the characters that are more vocal. So, but I've been having fun with it.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a really good island. I like it a lot. There was a lot of seeing Telecore and stuff come to, like, just kind of seeing it flushed out and seeing it presented as the threat and as sadistic as it was really shocking. Like, it's just like all of a sudden we're coming from doing these schools and stuff like that and trying not to fuck up anymore and make people mad to discovering this secret hideout where children, innocent people have just been murdered and sacrificed and stored. That was pretty.
We went full conspiracy theory.
Yeah,
theory.
that was
Yeah, we
pretty
did.
wild.
It was, I think, very left field.
Yeah.
It was
Well, their whole
definitely
goal
shocking.
is that we're going to mind control everybody on the planet, and that'll bring peace. There'll be no conflict because everybody will think exactly the same.
I see.
Right.
So,
But they had to have the
Very-
resources first.
yeah.
So it was interesting.
So we technically just left the hideout there? We didn't do anything to it.
I think the assumption was that they were going to take care of it.
Did they
Because
know
I
it
kept
existed?
giving them information, yeah.
They knew
Yeah.
it existed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I communicated that.
That's where we got a lot of our information when we got back to them from.
Tell them about this secret.
Yeah, I will say the entire way that played out really like just edged up Wander's distrust in authority, which then played into your island a lot. She was like, all of this was going on and this was your response? Fuck that.
Yes.
Turns out she wasn't wrong.
But if you guys had done some digging, you'd have found out that the two other schoolmasters had been manipulated, like, long term. Because we're talking about one of the school headmasters who's psychic by nature involved in all of this. Trying to hide that's hard. And so, like, if you'd done some digging, you'd have found that there had been some manipulation, there had been some mind mending, or mind bending. And that those three headmasters are the original headmasters. They're the three who formed the island like 200 and something years ago.
I put that together when we were talking to the dragon, and they're like, he
Right.
pulled my hair, and I was like, oh, it's that guy. He's very old. Nice.
Yeah. So they were pretty old, and that ancestral tree was born of the soul of the woman that all three of them loved.
Oh,
And she's the reason that they started doing what they were doing,
That's
interesting.
cool. I like that. Okay.
which is why it's a cherry blossom tree.
So I feel like I don't have to ask you this question, but I'll go ahead. But did you
Yeah.
enjoy DMing overall, and would you do it again?
Oh, yes. Yes, absolutely. And I think you guys know that I'm going to do it again.
What? When?
Yeah. Hopefully in February. Hopefully if I'm ready by then. But yeah, I've started putting it together. I'm excited.
You'll have plenty of time.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So what was your favorite part of the island?
As much as it killed me when you guys did it, I think my favorite part was probably when you stormed the headmasters, just because it was so unexpected.
Yeah.
For all of us. Except for him. He was the only one that wasn't surprised.
So,
The rest of us like, you're doing what?
I mean, yeah.
It was like,
It mind fucked me, that's for sure. And I was like, okay, so how am I gonna respond to this?
Without breaking the rule.
Right. Without killing everybody.
it was very much like a thing of like, no, we're absolutely down to go talk to them. Like, Talia, you need answers. Let's go get these answers for you.
Yeah.
All of these things in Quantum is like, oh, I can get us there.
Yeah,
And we're
you
like,
need
all right.
answers.
That's what you need?
Had I
And
not
really-
figured
I can make
out,
that happen.
had I not figured out how to pardon you guys, for whatever reason, I did have notes on how their like government and their punishment system works.
Oh, you knew you'd need that.
There and I have to pull it up. So there is the Hall of Discipline is actually exists. There's the Hall of Judgment and the Hall of Discipline that exists in the Elders Hall on that castle on the hill. And so you guys would have been taken in eventually to the Hall of Judgment. You would have had to pass judgment, and then you would have been moved to the Hall of Discipline where you guys would likely have been flogged.
That's just minor trespassing.
Breaking and entering. Nothing was broken.
It's just trespassing.
Corey's rethinking about becoming a criminal. House of Punishments.
They do have torture chambers too, but
Spicy.
yeah.
It's just when they showed the room on a 24-hour loop. Turn it off!
So it was, if I hadn't figured out, okay, well, you guys were supposed to get letters of recommendation for saving the girl. And I said, when I was looking at my notes, I was like, well, that doesn't make sense considering what they just did. So I figured, okay, so how about we turn those letters of recommendation into a pardon?
My pleasure.
Yeah.
And because Ash didn't need to be pardoned and was working with the elders in Elders Hall while they were sick and recovering, I figured, okay, well then Ash could receive a letter of rec for something that they were doing then, helping behind the scenes.
Yeah,
Probably would have been speaking for you guys.
It's just so funny to me that out of all of the people who stormed the castle, you were the only one that got ambassadorship.
I only needed one letter of rec.
Like, I know, and you got that before.
Yep. I was pre-set up.
And that's because Wander went on a date with somebody. Is the reason you got that.
Was it a date, though?
No, she just got a drink with some guy.
Yeah, and I followed along. She was trying to get information.
No,
No, I was just brokering
I
a
met
trade
with
agreement.
That's what it was, yeah.
Oh, no, that was just getting drinks, but like, it's Wander bridged the gap between an apothecary on one of the islands and a provider on another, and was like, you need to like make this deal with them. And then she went out for drinks with him to seal the deal. And Corey followed her
Yeah,
to
that
make
was the
sure.
most interesting way he could have chosen to do that. I was like, I'm not sure I'm comfortable with this as a DM, but I'm doing it. But that's just because I'm bad at like real life social interactions, so it's like I don't have anything to base that interaction on.
No, it was delightful. That was a lot of fun.
Wander in open daylight trying to break into a fucking house.
I can be sneaky about it if you don't yell about it.
And I'm just like, is that really the path we're going to take?
Like, you got
Yes,
fucking, you got
based
thieves'
on my
kids.
alignment and my history.
And
Yes.
I had things set up specifically for you. You missed the deck of fates.
Oh.
So if
That
you
would've
had
been fun.
pickpocketed anyone on that island, because they deal with the blood demon sect, and a lot of them are pickpockets. A lot of people keep a card from the deck of fates in their pocket as a
Just continuously
Distraction?
highlight the deck of fate.
yep. Well, anytime you would have pulled one, you would have immediately incurred the
Consequence
activation of
of
the
it.
card.
Yeah.
And so the deck of fates is not as campaign destructive as the deck of
Many things.
Many-
Which we know Mariah has no problem pulling from
right.
in previous campaigns.
So yeah.
And no, I Wander pickpockets very specific people. very specific people. Nobody pissed me off enough on that island to do so.
I do like that you found the turtle, though.
Yeah, I
the turtle.
was dedicated to that quest.
His name Herbert. Is his
Herbert
name? Yes,
Turtle?
found Herbert the turtle. That was hilarious. It's like all of a sudden you see a turtle walking across the street.
That's my turtle.
Great turtle. I was like, this is just a fun little one that I know that they're going to enjoy because it's them.
Like the lost dog.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or the fact that I brought the gremlins back.
Yeah.
You're never gonna live that down.
Ew.
I was trying to like.
But hey, I made the save this time, didn't I?
I know,
Yeah.
redemption arc. Look at that, Trey.
Look at that
It's
gross.
just Creed that's the problem, not you.
Yeah.
No, didn't you fail one of them? Because
Did I?
wasn't it you and Corey that ended up?
If I
bursting
failed one
through
of
that
them,
tent?
it didn't make it through to my next turn. Because I didn't have a round where I was facing against everyone else.
Okay. Yeah,
Good job.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. And of course, he left,
Yeah.
and we're ready to talk about his island.
Thank you again for setting that up for my character. It was a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
It's been a lot of
Hopefully,
fun
there
seeing
weren't
you
other
as a player.
things that you were expecting to use that I took away because of the way I did that. But
Yeah, and again, it's like I tried to leave it open enough to where it's like I didn't have certain expectations because I wanted to be surprised. And again, death was totally on the table.
it still surprises me that you killed the one character. I mean, I know that.
I was like thinking about it. I was like, I don't know what any alternative is. I have to set up this person as really terrible because he's killed innocent people before. So why would he hesitate to stop now?
To something that he saw as a
As
Betrayal.
a means to an end.
yeah.
I mean, we're talking about a massacre that was initiated because of him.
Yeah.
Yes. No, it was delightful. It was fun because it was like it was fun and like we got to flesh out more relationships, especially because for whatever reason everybody was like, Talia is my personal therapist, and so when she was gone we were like, shit, we gotta go. And that was really fun.
Did you guys like the use of those notes, the way that those notes worked on the
Oh, the
island?
notepads?
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
fun.
that was cool. Yeah.
I'm considering doing something similar on my next island because there's not a good way to communicate distance-wise.
If I can carry yours.
Other than sending
Sending
stones.
stones.
Sending stones or the sending spell.
All right, so last but not least, Ulvidore.
Yeah.
Yes.
What was the inspiration behind that?
Well, I didn't really have much. Okay, so I had the first thing I figured out was the map. That map that I gave you guys, I just looked up a bunch of maps just to get an idea, and I was like, okay, there's my island. Then I established certain places and shit, and that's when I figured out different dig sites and stuff like that. But Desi actually gave me the idea of, does anybody recognize Wrath, Pestilence,
I mean, the
War,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Death,
horsemen?
the
Yeah.
four horsemen.
Four horsemen.
Yes, so it was the four horsemen. That gave me the original idea of creating the demons and whatnot. But other than that, it kind of just unfolded as is. I don't know. There
Very
wasn't-
organically.
Yeah, it was just kind of like you said, kind of go from the outside, build the frame of it, and then adapt and figure out the story.
Yep.
That was most of it. It was just kind of.
And what the hell were with the Tabaxi twins?
Okay, so the Tabaxi twins were a way to get you to the island.
Sure.
And who they were is... So there's the cult of Wrath. There's also a cult of Ulvidore. Those were two people part of the cult of Ulvidore, two newbies, and very... what's the word I'm looking
Naive?
for? Naive, yes. Very naive, thinking that they could... What their plan was to infiltrate the island and take out Meriwathi. Because they knew who Meriwathi was.
Yeah.
And they in order to give them an alibi, a story to get there, they had actually gone to the port of Nardorf, assassinated Kira, who is Terry's wife, and impersonated Terry's children to get to the island.
So he did have children.
No. Impersonated that as if he had children,
Yeah.
but he didn't. Just to use it to get to the island. And they were both in disguise, and they were also both gnomes. So that's why they were so short and stuff. They look like children.
Yeah.
But they had disguise hats on. Both of them.
Okay.
But yep, that's who they were. They were just planning on going there and assassinating Mirawathi, but instead they
got killed by the Snatcher.
Good.
Yeah.
That was a way for me to introduce one of my main monsters.
Those things were awful.
Terrifying.
Yes, I agree. I was like really like it kind of seems maniacal, but I just started busting out laughing. I was like, what if I just smush these two tabaxi children in front of the group to like introduce them to my island, especially since Ivanov the one watching after him.
Yeah.
It's like how awful. Like what kind of fire would that set in Ivanov?
A lot.
Big one.
All of them.
But
Yeah.
yes, that's what the Tabaxi twins were. They were a way to get you to the island, and that was their... So they were actually adults, gnomes, deep gnomes. So you didn't fail to protect two children. They were just gnomes.
You just failed to protect two deep.
Yes,
Yeah.
that didn't need protecting, because they shouldn't have been on the island in the first place.
Yeah.
So at least we've only got one child on our head, not three.
Yes, exactly.
So far.
Sounds like
We
this
still
one,
got
Diane.
time.
There was a while there I thought Mayor Wathy, like maybe there was two different versions of him, or maybe he had like a dual personality, and I suspected maybe his wife was actually behind everything, because there were a lot of times where he was there and she was just in the background not saying anything.
Interesting.
Which of course that obviously didn't end up being the case, but that was one of my theories. Had Ivanova succeeded on her detect thoughts, well, she didn't do the detect thoughts, but had she gone through with that, which she probably would have had you guys not broken in, would she have been able to gain anything?
On Mirawathi?
Yeah.
You would have realized that he is obviously using something to block his mind. It would have been a mind shielding ring.
Sure.
He was wearing a mind shielding ring.
And was there like a couple times where he was realizing that we're starting to catch on? That's
Yes.
why he acted like less of a shithead
Correct.
near the end?
Yes. Yeah. Like, he saw how fucking distrusting you were. I'm like, God damn. It's like, she doesn't trust anybody.
No.
It's like, Kurt Blood's actually a good guy. You think he's a real bad guy. But, yes, that did go into me adapting kind of the way he was approaching things and, like, what information he was giving you and the ultimate, like, attitude he had. So, yeah.
And how much did you expect Ash to do the medicine thing? Because I was very involved.
I hoped you would. It was a hope of mine, like presenting that opportunity, but I had no idea.
That I was gonna go like so super deep
well,
with
like
it.
you went into and separated one of the patients and actually did like it was a ceremony and then lesser restoration, and you like combine those two.
And yeah,
So that was a good opportunity for me because I'm
Wanna
like,
help you, girl?
this plague is incurable. You can't cure it. You can't reverse it. It's just gonna kill you. But it was cool to like think about. Well, I mean, you were able to at least stop it, like by what you did. So it was cool seeing you kind of interact with that and talk to Sunny and Vicky. Does anybody know where that's from? Sunny and Vicky.
Is it a sitcom?
It's robots from Aeireborne. It's Aeireborne. Sunny, and then Vicky. Yeah, that's why she said your logic is undeniable. It was Vicky.
And was having Amir involved in the island was always the intention
Yes,
as well?
like before I even knew what was going on my island, Amir was already there. I already knew. I was like, he's making a cameo. I don't know how he's going to be there. My original island had to do with a society that looks really nice and stuff on the top, but underneath you find out that like the kingdom makes a lot of their money through their premium leather, but their premium leather is made by skinning people and stuff like that comes to the island. And the people that are descent, so it's kind of like Hot Fuzz, where they keep the town looking awesome by killing the people that are bad or that they deem as bad. And then Amir was going to be part of the resistance that was like trying to take him out, and you guys are going to find out. But
It wasn't the route you chose.
I honestly just thought you were like, I have to in canon establish that Pete and Amir were a thing.
That came after. I was like, why is he running around? I was like, yes, Pete. It's like, you told me that I asked you that a long time ago. I was like, is there potential I might run into him? And you gave me like, yes, there's like a slight potential. That's all I need. That's all I need. Just coincidence. So yeah, incorporating Pete and stuff, that was later on. I really just wanted Amir to be there just to see him again.
Yeah.
Just to play him and stuff. And,
Yeah.
but it was interesting because he hadn't told me about Ivanova yet. At that point when I decided to do Amir and stuff, I had no idea that Ivanova was going to be on the island. So
I think I asked you like 2 or 3 weeks prior. I was like, because I had the idea, I was like, hey, can I play Ivanova instead?
Yeah, and I was really excited about that.
Yeah.
And didn't see that coming.
I think it opened up a lot of opportunities for Ash too.
Mm-hmm.
Because,
it showed family background, right?
Right.
Like a huge opportunity from the very beginning.
Because you guys missed all that with Uncle Blaze. So you guys got it with Aunt Ivanova and Uncle Amir instead.
Yeah.
Who are actually from the other side of the family.
Yeah, that was awesome. Got to see Ivanova and you got to see Amir. And actually have like conversations about Amir and Nardorf and all that stuff. That was pretty cool.
I love the Ivanova symbol.
The what?
Ivanova symbol. That tracks so much. Be like, Ivanova, I fucked up again.
It could have been more perfect because you rolled that 20 to perceive it. I was like, yes, perfect. Like, of course, you would be the one to immediately notice. You're in trouble.
Oh, that was hysterical.
Favorite moment?
Yeah, did you have a favorite moment? I know what mine is.
Yeah, I know what yours is too. I'd say the Rufus debacle was the whole thing was unexpected.
Yeah.
It was.
Because we did have fatality after all.
Yeah, yes.
R.I.P. Rufus.
I'm just saying, I want a bat familiar now.
Ash never attached your blood elemental. The deal's still on.
Yeah.
And then the heist, like you guys doing that was pretty. I didn't know what to expect with that. And
I was just sitting here the whole
to.
time, just like, oh my god.
I was like, you told me you turned into a T-Rex. I'm like, you're in a 15-foot long, 5-foot hallway. It's like, holy shit. It's like what's
The hallway's gone.
Right? It's like the roof's gone. It's this fucking dinosaur appears. And just everything goes all over the place.
What would have happened if they killed him? Would that have messed up his whole plan?
Mirawathi?
Yeah.
It wasn't an option.
Okay.
He had plot armor.
Essentially. And he had been training himself. At that point, he was like 250 years old, maybe even older. I can't remember what I wrote, if it was 250 or something higher than that. But he had been training his whole life in order to perform that ritual at the end where he kills himself and gives his power over to death.
Yeah.
To manifest as the ultimate lich, like a full lich instead of a dust lich. So yeah, he was a key component to the thing, and he wasn't gonna die.
Yeah.
I didn't expect you guys to do any combat with him at all. I did have it in my mind that it could happen, but really, like, his whole mansion was built, like all those stones and everything that the walls are made out of, like how they had symbols and stuff all over them. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, sorry.
Like how all the walls like that. Well, his mansion is like that, and those walls can be like, you can incorporate magic into them and like make them do things that you want them to do, and he understood that part of the walls, just because he understood the lore, and he pretty much set it up to where like you guys couldn't beat him in his mansion at least.
Yeah,
you have to be outside the mansion.
Lair.
Right?
Yeah.
So once you knocked him off out of the house as
right,
a T-Rex,
free game.
Game on.
He's gonna come out and. But at that point, you guys weren't after Wathi. You were just after the bookcase. You were going after the books. But yeah, I think those two moments, Rufus's demise and
or just that whole scenario where Ash just decides to follow the blood.
Yeah.
Fetch.
right into and walks right into a blood pool. Like really.
Something you guys missed with the Oscar guy. Mm-hmm. So his whole story was when you guys first got to the island and you went to the tavern, Oscar was acting kind of weird, but you wouldn't know that because you never met Oscar. But he had eaten some tainted food, and he was developing the plague at that time, and is kind of fucking with his mind. So he told you to go after this special deer, when he knows what these deer actually are. So what these deer are is Ulvidore was kind of a conservationalist, so he really liked animals and really appreciated them. So he was working on an experiment of designing a magical effect that it was a buck that looks like a beautiful buck that would attract any hunter, and it had a spell on it that forced the people to follow it if they failed the spell or failed the save. They would follow it for 10 minutes, it would lead them into the woods, and somebody had true malicious intent like a hunter, when they come to, would still try to kill it and try to attack it. When they do that, it explodes in a burst of psychic energy, does 40 psychic damage to everybody, and then makes you feel guilty for the next 8 hours of hunting animals. That was the whole thing.
That's
and then
hysterical.
And when you got back, if you would have told him about it, Oscar about it, your reward was going to be a bag of apples, magic apples, and I have a list of what all those do, and they're really, really cool.
Damn it!
That's why I tried. I was like, I tried to save you, so I had Oscar come out to talk to you, but he just didn't bring up the deer.
No.
If he would have brought up the deer, he would have been like, what? I don't remember talking about that. And then it would have...
Mostly it's because we weren't looking for the deer. It was just
Yep.
more like, oh, there's a deer.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. But that was the whole deer thing.
That's hysterical.
With Oscar. It was just a side. It wasn't like vital.
Yeah.
Just something that happened. But
I'm still gonna have fun with my vials.
yeah.
Of emotion.
that was definitely a surprise.
So the modified memory dwarf, did he make it off the island?
Him,
Yeah.
he's dead.
Oh no!
He went out to go find Boone, and he ended up running into like snatchers and shit. And died.
That'll do it.
Did a good portion of the population make it off the island before it exploded?
Correct. Everybody that was alive, since you guys beat them, everybody that was alive got to go onto that giant ship that was there. That Talia and... So I should probably tell you guys about that. You guys want to know what happened with Corey and Talia?
I also want to know about the cart that we missed. Like that perception check. But we can circle back to that. I just needed to say that so I would remember it.
Did we record that essentially one shot you and I did together?
No, we didn't.
We should have.
Yeah, but I do remember all of it, of what we did. So I'd do like little... Let them know.
Because I came over like an hour early one day. We ran the whole thing. How Tally and Marina rescued Corey.
Yep. So everybody that was on the island that was alive when you guys defeated the liches and everything, they got out of the island. Got off the island safe. So everybody. If you guys would have lost, you guys would have been banished and just appeared back at the skyport like you do now if you died in combat. And then everybody on the island would have been converted into his army, essentially. It would have been used to create his army. So you guys ended up saving a lot of people. But before you guys got there, a lot of people had already died from the plague. Like half the population had already been wiped out.
Yeah.
From the plague.
It's only 50%.
But you guys saved a good...
Better than the
amount of people.
calamity.
Exactly.
But yeah, what was with those people in the cart where you're like, you missed something with them?
Tabaxi.
What?
Yeah.
Well, that was the shipment. That was the shipment of healing potions.
Oh.
They were all just sitting in there in crates. You guys could have just... I mean, they're not theirs. You guys could have just grabbed them. Like, they got them from the vault that was in that Dagsite beta. They found this giant vault with his new explosives they got from Emir. They found this new vault that had a bunch of healing potions and shit, and they were shipping it back to town. And that was just one of them. Like, they knew about it, and they were going to tell you about it, because they didn't know your guys' intentions, and they were just trying to get back to town. But you guys could have grabbed, like, essentially whatever you wanted.
That would have been so helpful.
It would have been a shit ton of healing potions. I mean, it was like 50 superior, 150 greater, and like 300 normal. It was just a shit ton. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe you guys did look in the cart. I'm like, Shifty Wonder didn't go back there and just kind of like take a peek.
Again. She has a very specific characterization of when she will steal from people.
I did make them seem very like...
They were just trying to live their life in a really shitty circumstance. She's not going to steal from somebody. Yeah.
Please don't hurt us, man.
Oh, yeah, no, there's a reason Water steals. It is not that.
I did tug on your heartstring a little bit. But yes, that's why when he got back to town.
How do you think the final confrontation went?
I expect you guys to win, but I didn't want it to be too easy. Like I
Right.
really wanted you
Having
guys
it
to.
spread out was smart because I mean we have a lot of characters that you have to be within like 10 to 30 feet of me to get this extra bonus.
Especially
Yep.
your healer.
Yeah.
Yes, I had fun designing that. That was all on purpose, spreading you guys out like that, having you come in landing like that. It sucks you missed that whole thing. That was my great finale.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. You guys did great.
You could
But,
listen to it.
Kept you up for most of it.
Yes, the
Yeah,
vast
sure.
majority of it, Ash was there.
I did. I think the only person that died was Marina and
No,
No.
Talia and Ash did as
At
well.
the very
Yep.
end.
oh
yeah.
they did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, you guys. It was like the
Died.
last little.
Died and teleported back
Ash
on.
died.
Once
Yeah.
you get to 0 HP, you just the
Teleport.
green flame surrounds you and you vanish and you go back to the
Yeah,
skyport.
it was basically like
Now you die. When you go down, you
You
get
get
teleported back to the
banished.
skyport.
yeah.
Right, exactly. You,
Yeah,
you didn't do
bas-
death saves.
Basically, for the demon, it was a dick measuring contest where he's like, I want
Exactly.
to prove that my liches are stronger than you guys. So
Yeah, exactly.
You were not looking at our health, were you, during that entire combat?
Like watching like where you guys
Like
were.
where we were?
No. No.
Wander was sitting at below 10 for
Oh,
at
wow.
least 4 rounds.
Oh, wow.
And it was always times in which, like, one of the liches had, like, a legendary action, and if they had just done any damage to her, she would have gone down. So I spent that entire time going, don't look at me, don't look at me, don't look at me.
Yeah. It was
Looking directly at
it was
Trey
a
being
teacher in
like-
class. Don't make eye contact. You won't follow
You
me.
mean the time Ash was sitting on a 1 for a while?
Yes.
I was sending him screenshots of Ash's health as he's hitting Ash,
Yeah.
and I was sitting at a 1.
Yeah. At some point, though, I was completely surrounded by zombies, and I was just like, this is how I die. And then Talia, like, slammed down next to me and healed me. I was like, oh, fuck, thank you. And then I immediately went back down to the same number.
But overall, I think like you keeping track of 3 liches that have 3 legendary actions apiece. That was pretty entertaining.
How close did Wander get to one-shotting that one lich? Pestilence?
One-shotting them?
Yeah.
Like when you first hit them?
Yeah.
No. I boosted their HP.
Okay.
They
Because
were all boosted.
I rolled a nat 20 and that one hit, and then I rolled, like, something else that would have hit. But
You
he
did
shielded
like
it.
an ass ton of damage to
Yeah,
him.
I figured that's why he hightailed it away from me.
I mean, you had him like from I think his health was, so I had him like when I built them, I buffed them. I had like a specific thing in mind. I was like, War has more armor, his AC is higher, but his HP doesn't go that high. Pestilence is more about like disease and absorbing life. He has more HP than other people, but lower AC. So if you notice, the zombies and stuff that were boosted by either green eyes or red eyes were either really high AC but lower health, or really high health, lower AC, and they each had like special attacks like poisoned, scratches and
versus
stuff like
Wander.
that. But for Pestilence, he had like pretty high AC, I think it was, or pretty high HP. It was like 155, but you got him down, I think, to like
I got him down by half of his HP in one hit.
Yeah, I think he was like 70 or
Uh-huh.
something like that. Yes, he was very like, oh fuck. That's used my special ability pretty fast here because he had that one special where he can like heal people, heal his allies and stuff. But yes, I think overall, it was really, I was really worried it was going to be OP. But then when I started seeing how it was going, I was like, oh no, it's fine. It's like, this is good.
The counterspell battle was fun.
That was a really good time. That was fun interrupting your spells.
If Oliver had gone down from death in first round, I don't think he would have survived.
It was a word kill.
Yeah, power word kill.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, he saved Talia right at the beginning because he used power word kill. Or no, Ivanova.
Yep.
That's because Ivanova did a nat 1 on her dexterity
Yep.
save or something, coming down as she gets to pick where she gets to land. But
So
she
you
didn't
pick
get to
for me.
pick. I got to pick where she landed. She landed right in front of Death, the actual full-fledged lich. And the first thing he did was power word kill on her, which she has exactly 100 HP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he did counterspell.
Yeah, without Ivanova, I don't think we would have survived it.
Yeah.
Like
She got
the
we got
whole
the final
thing?
kill.
Yeah.
The whole thing. 'Cause
Yeah.
you were there the entire time. Without you, I think we would have all gone down.
We definitely would have gone down.
Huh.
Yeah.
Ivanova got the final kill.
She did.
Yep, she got
I
it.
got to say my one-liner that I wrote down in my notebook weeks ago.
And I
That was
don't know if
delightful.
you noticed, but I gave it to you because Corey he could have done flurry of blows.
Sure.
But I did. It was like, I'm not gonna have Corey do the fucking final thing. This doesn't. It's not. It doesn't sit right with me. So I just had him do a key point to dodge. I was like, I'm not gonna have him fucking because he only had. Like,
I got a feeling
6
he was getting
HP.
down there. I was like, it's either gonna be me or Corey, unless both of us were really badly.
Yeah, I didn't want it to be Corey. I was like,
If you hadn't done it, I was hoping to get back to me because then I would have had all 3.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm glad you guys. I'm glad you figured out the basin thing when it came to the blood. I was worried you guys were just gonna sit there this whole time, like just keeping the blood elemental from like losing HP, but like giving more blood. I'm like, no, just get him down to 1 HP and you win.
At some point, Wander was like, "No, it's about sacrifice. Fucking sacrifice."
And the thing everybody missed in Ulvidore's like control room is how those tablets got there. Somebody popped up in the summoning circle,
Yeah.
and had them and threw them, and they attached to the wall, but nobody.
I
saw
assumed it was Mayor Wathy or somebody, one of his minions.
It was one of his minions. Yeah.
So they snuck in and out of there?
He was prepared for that event when Ulvidore is awoken and Wrath is awoken, and they can put those tablets into those spots that give Wrath. It grants Wrath control over all those liches. He was prepared for that, so he had deaths already, which was in the chapel with Pastor Gibbons Zamit. Proper investigation tech. If you would have checked like outside, there was another like kind of shed. There was a storage shed. If anybody would have checked that, they would have found it actually goes down into a secret dungeon, and you would have found out that he's actually a bad guy.
Knew he was a bad guy.
Yeah.
so-
Actually, I want to interact with them,
But
so I didn't do anything with
you
them.
would have found the altar to death that he had created, and that's where his tablet was the whole time. It was on the hilltop under the church. Yeah, because that guy's even older than Mayor Wathy, also in disguise. And he's like an elder and part of the cult of Wrath and stuff. So, but yeah, so he was prepared for that. Then he had like a summoning circle that linked to that one that he had already created. But, yep, so what else? The bag on the ground, that bag of holding, I meant to make you guys do another investigation check to see if you could determine that it was, or maybe I think you guys just didn't roll high enough, that it was not a normal bag of holding, it was actually a bag of devouring. And that's how the war gem got off the island. Is Ulvidore had placed it in the gem, or placed in the devouring, and I'm sure you remember what happens to items in the devouring, is after a certain amount of time they vanish, and they appear at a random time, in a random location,
That's right, yep.
in existence. And it popped out at the base of Mount Dawncaller, and was found by Milo's great ancestors.
12 minutes later.
put into a bag, like they harnessed like the power of it. They knew it was magical, and they were musical in nature, and they were already practicing bards, and they put it into a pair of bagpipes and made them like look really cool. And every time they used it, it had a chaotic energy and would do something crazy, and it became a family heirloom that passed on and on and on.
That's how you get your bread.
So that's the story of why that happened, where the gem came from, and why the bagpipes had to be on the island. And I fucking forgot about it until like after the first session. I was like, shit. It's like somehow Ivanova needs to have the bagpipes. It's like I don't know how, but we got to work that in
I
there.
had a private conversation with Corey, that's all.
Completely forgot about it.
Did you expect us to solve that question, or to answer that question that we had about the bagpipes by sending
No,
a
not at all. Yeah, not at all. I didn't know what you guys were going to do with that information of like when you learn about it.
Well, I don't think you knew that Ivanova had a sending stuff.
Nope. No, yeah, that was a big surprise. I was
Well, I
like,
mean,
wow.
why wouldn't she? You know?
No, yeah. No, I mean, it makes sense.
That was fun, though.
Yeah. I did enjoy the chase. You guys having to chase somebody. I thought that was pretty fun. I thought you guys did really good against a level 20 rogue with a shit ton of luck. I did the luck feat. I had all kinds of stuff in there.
The luck feat, the DM's favorite.
I was like, fuck, it's not even a reaction. It's nothing. I just do it.
Yep.
It's like, oh yeah, I'm lucky.
Love special actions like
awesome.
that.
So having DM now, is it something that you liked and would like to do again? Either in a short capacity or a larger capacity?
One shots. I prefer to do like one shots.
Yeah.
That was fun, but it was, I don't know, like it started kind of feeling more like a job than like being fun, because I was constantly having to like think about it and stuff. So I think for now, if I ever do any DM, and it's just going to be like short little one shots, and stuff, you know. But you guys are awesome to roll. I mean, it was
It was a lot of fun.
It was really cool. Like now that I didn't have to be like Corey or anything, to sit back and like watch the group kind of like evolve and stuff. A lot of shit happened when Corey was gone, so like there's a lot of stuff that Corey just doesn't know about, and I'm trying to like remember that, because I know about all of it, but Corey doesn't know about any of it. I mean,
Which would be helpful in some ways.
I mean, because like you starting to use your little glowy orb thing, he saw that one time in the at the end of your island, but after that, like all the rest of your spirit shit and like doing summonings and stuff, he doesn't know anything about
You know
that.
what happened to Rufus?
Doesn't know, he doesn't know
happened
you
to
have
Rufus?
contingency.
Yep.
Doesn't know Quantum has contingency. Has
Doesn't
no
know
idea.
polymorph.
So he could like, hey, you want to fight again? Jesus Christ!
What are you doing, T-Rex?
I broke
You guys fought in
Quantum.
the tournament, didn't you?
We did,
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
but he didn't have contingency at that point.
That was
Yep.
a rematch.
That's not a bad fucking fight.
I'm telling you, I broke Quantum. He's a T-Rex. I pushed the wrong button.
Oh my god, T-Rex is consumed. That's gonna go weird.
Want to be a T-Rex or a giant crab?
Snip.
Okay, we don't need another Rufus.
Or do we?
So yeah, it was cool watching you guys do all that, and I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
You guys all did great. Starting with you, I want to know how you think without giving anything away, how your character has changed since being on this road trip, and if you can't say anything.
Road trip.
Let's see.
Oh god. Avatar.
Well, yes, I've contacted my master for the first time, and since I've lost him, that was a big change. It was really fun having these times, the islands to like expand our interpersonal relationships with our characters that we outside the main story. It's like other than Talia's personal storyline, it's been outside pretty much almost everybody's main storyline.
Yep.
We've got to just interact with each other and follow quests. See, how's he changed?
Stealing more than he ever has before.
Yes. So influence from Wander, for sure.
Wander's never taken you on a heist again. That's for fucking
Let's
sure.
see.
You listen to your elders, whore. You go. Oh, that's gonna
Let's
be fun
see.
to play out.
A lot more careful and private about some things, I think. He's
Yeah.
learned to keep more stuff together, just instead of just being blunt with everything all the time.
Interesting. So he's picking up on that vibe.
Yeah.
That, like doesn't go well in all situations.
Let's see. I don't think he's figured out not to assume things yet.
Fair enough.
I think those are the biggest things.
Yeah.
What about Wonder?
Wander has another group of people she cares for, and that's really annoying because now their needs factor into her plans, which just does not go with what she was wanting to do when she went to Sky Peak. So really, like, the development of interpersonal relationships has changed a lot of the priority of certain goals and certain kind of like leads and what she's willing to do. The payout there is that it also means that she is willing to cross more lines. Good, bad, and ugly to protect the people she cares about. So that'll be interesting to see going forward, considering we have a budding necromancer.
Yeah, and I love that you were like at the beginning of that island, all she's not going to take you anywhere if you don't want her to take you. And then you realized that I was 2 years old.
Just like, fucking toddler again. Again! But yeah, so that's really it. Well, no, she also did take a level in fighter because of Susan.
Are you planning on taking more levels, like in the future?
I think-
Fighter gets some cool stuff.
Yeah, at least one more because I want action surge.
Right, yeah. The action surge is
Easily one of the
really
best
cool.
abilities.
And
Yeah.
there's a really fun blood hunter thing that I want at level 18, so it may just be that I have 2 levels in fighter and
Right.
then go blood hunter the rest of the way. We'll see how it plays out.
So
with
is the
storyline.
Wanda the one authority figure she respects?
No, she thinks she's really entertaining though. She respects her as a person, but if she tried to like give her an actual order, and it was not in a situation where Wander thought it would be beneficial for a larger group of people than herself, she would probably be like, "No, friend, No. We'll revisit this later and then go and do whatever she felt like needed to be done.
Fair enough.
If it was in Nardorf, though, she'd be like, yep, this is your place, what you need.
So what about Ash?
So Ash is definitely not as much is not a pacifist at all anymore, I don't think. Whereas we went from extreme pacifist, I think Ash has like definitely veered from that path, and I think it's gonna get worse, honestly.
I see.
She's gonna overextend and not know the limits. So that's
Yeah.
what I'm excited to see.
That's what
excited to see.
that's what I'm excited to see about Ash, whether or not he's gonna do that. Because I'm gonna start taking shadow sorcery because I've been playing with the necromancy and then like really playing into the vampireness of who Ash is, and so I'm gonna start taking shadow sorcery because I think that that's gonna play really well into the vampire nature.
It's a lot of fun. Creve has
Yep.
a lot of fun with it.
So yeah, which means that Ash is going to be doing damage now, and I don't think I think you guys probably have noticed, but Ash has not been doing as much like area of effects and like aiding and whatnot.
Yeah.
It has definitely like changed the mindset.
And I'll say, like, for your spiritual weapon, if you want to flip-flop between the lasso and something more harmful, you're more than welcome to do that.
Okay,
Since
Like
you're...
into an actual weapon.
Yeah.
That's
because
exciting potential.
because I mean it was fun using it as the lasso, but now that Ash is willing to do more, I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Next drop.
So what about good old Corey? What do you think has changed the most about him?
Oh, Corey. So, Corey, it's interesting because you guys met him at a very interesting time in his life. With Chester being gone, his thoughts are a lot more clear now.
Not that two voices schizophrenic.
And like he first started talking to Ash about connecting with his god. So a big thing, if you notice, he feels disconnected from Helm, and throughout this journey, especially at your island at the end of it, where he gets a confirmation from Helm that at least he's on the right path by being granted the wish, because that's who he asked was Helm. So even if it wasn't Helm, that's who he believes gave it to him. So his mind's a lot clearer. He's like if you notice, he's drinking less. Still doesn't wipe.
That's never gonna change, let's be real.
That's not gonna change.
Unless Polly asks.
No. Hey, Polly has. That would change for no woman. And other than that, I mean, it's he definitely feels like you guys are his new clan, and given his past and what had happened to him, that's a really big thing. So he definitely is loyal, very loyal to you guys. He saw you looking. Did you?
I got snapped at. I'm getting down.
So he's definitely very loyal to the group and will do pretty much anything for you guys. And like that started, I think, really unfolding with Talia, getting that close relationship, and then with Wander.
Which is funny because they both start off with the wrong foot with him.
Yeah.
In different ways.
In very different ways, yeah.
Like I said, you met him at a very interesting time in his life.
Look, lady, I don't know you.
I listened to those and I was like, the difference. Where's my favorite cousin?
And it's funny because he doesn't remember at all that Ash is the one that tried to protect him from the fucker that was going to take him in the back bathroom. At the very beginning, Ash is the one that was trying to keep him safe.
If she hadn't done it, you'd have to roll a new character. Just kidding.
He was just going to take me to the bathroom and do unspeakable things.
Corey wouldn't liked it.
Like, oh, if only that was super. But yeah, that's Corey's thing. I mean, he's been gone for a while. We've never actually talked about like where he's been. So like when Kerblunt and him left, when they left Ulvidore, like the day after you guys got there, they left, and as soon as they passed the fog, there were 3 ships And Ash had actually noticed the 3 ships coming in, but she didn't say anything to you guys. She rolled a perception check and she noticed there was 3 ships, 1 big one and 2 smaller ones, and they were just chilling, waiting to ambush you guys when you got off the island. She didn't say anything.
I didn't know anything. They're just ships.
This is what you get when you bring a 2-year-old.
They're just ships.
Right, so when we flew off and got past the fog, they ambushed us, imprisoned both of us, and I was in a dungeon essentially in the ship, in the bottom of the ship, being tortured and interrogated about where the gym is. Like, where's the gym? And I'm like, the nearest gym I know is on Sky Peak, man. I don't know. It's a pretty nice gym. I haven't been there myself. Stop playing with us. Where's the gym? I swear it's a really nice gym. So for like 7 days, that's what was happening to me. They were beating me up and doing all kinds of things. And at that point, I was in prison with Kerblunt, and he didn't look like Milo anymore. He looked like Deep Gnome, because he is a defector. Is that the right word?
Like
Defector?
left, yeah.
Yeah, a defector of the Cult of Wrath. Mm-hmm. He left the Cult of Wrath, and he's been keeping a close eye on Merwathi and stuff on the island to make sure that he doesn't find the gems and expose Wrath and stuff like that. And if he does, he's there to try to stop it.
Didn't even give us a heads up.
So, I think it was, so Talia ended up reaching out to him
After she woke up.
after she woke up in a sending stone, and he told her he was in trouble. And they sent out a rescue mission, went on a rescue mission, Marina and Talia. Like a couple they were tabaxis, but they were people in disguise, were on the skyport, and they were trying to get supplies for their ship. And Talia overheard them talking about Corey, or someone mentioned Corey. So they went back to their ship, beat them all up, killed them all, and then took their ship, confiscated it, and rowed out to the bigger ship and confronted all those people, snuck in, set free Corey and Kerblunt, and together they all beat up and killed everybody. There was like 40 people on the ship. We beat up and killed them all, and then...
They were cultists.
Yes, right, they were cultists. They're all bad guys. And then, I think Talia had set, or Marina, because she knows more about airships, set one of the smaller ones to blow up. They set the engine to blow up, and blew it up with everybody on board and shit.
Full on search of Spock moment.
Oh, I love that.
Captain, what does this mean? Get out of there!
As we fly away. And then we were hauling ass to Ulvidore. So that's where we picked up.
When did Corey get taken into Predator Island?
That was when he's on the big ship, already rescued, going to
Yep.
the island.
If you had been in the middle of being tortured and then you had just been lifted up.
Well, it's interesting because Desi's been running dream sequences with me. So while he was in prison, he was having these strange dreams, which actually are going to play into his character. Because I don't know if you noticed, but I took a level 1 in Barbarian.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
That'll be great for you because when you go reckless, you get advantage, and with the sneak attack, it's like I watched that one shot that they did with the Darrington Brigade, and the Owlbear was part road, part barbarian. I was like, that's an excellent combo. I never would have thought to put those two together.
Yeah.
But then also you get extra armor, most of your AC for the unarmored. For
You get an extra
right?
unarmored bonus, don't you?
Yep.
Or
But
do
I
they
already
stack?
have one.
It's
Does it stack?
monk is what is it? Your wisdom and your dex, and then I think barbarian adds your con as well.
It does.
My con's pretty low, unfortunately.
But then you also get resistance all damage just when you rage while you're
Yeah,
in combat, which would be really nice.
Half
Yep.
damage, yeah.
And I already have the path I'm going to go with it, so we'll see.
Nice.
I'm excited to see that play out.
Yep.
But
I feel like raging fits Corey very well.
well, it's gonna play into his character pretty well. With what he's been working on. But yeah, so
No.
that's what Corey's been up
Jackson.
to, and that was the whole great rescue mission that Talia and Marina
So
did.
wait, did you not even get the pay raise we argued for you?
Damn it.
So Kerblunt would have actually told you guys, since you guys would have met Kerblunt as himself, since he was the one driving the ship that drove you guys off there. He would have told you all of the stuff that happened, who Ulvidore was. He was actually just a decent guy from like 200,000 years ago. He was just a kid who really, really enjoyed tinkering and doing stuff with enchantments. He got super good at it, and then when he became an adult, he realized that some of his stuff could like change the outcome of the world. So he decided to find an island after some incident that almost ended the world. He found an island and Sky or Aeireborne, which at that point was like a myth. Found a secluded island and hid there. Was found out by bandits. They took one of his magical items. They showed the world. And they're like, look at what this guy's hoarding to himself. They sent like 100,000 bandits to try to kill him. All of those scenes that you were picking up, those orcs running to the thing and like getting stabbed, those are all from when he was killing those bandits when they were invading his space.
Booby traps!
Yes, they were all booby traps and shit that he had set up to kill them. So every time you were doing that, you were reaching back and seeing those visions of those people.
It's really interesting, because the vision that it was painting for me is that Ulvidore was like this crazy genius who was just killing anybody who was coming towards him.
Right. Yeah, those are all bandits that had set off like his major army to go there, kill Ulvidore, and take all of his stuff for themselves, which would have been the end of everything, all existence. So he ends up actually killing all of them through booby traps, through his own spells and stuff like that, and through this massive like network of tunnels that runs through this island, like all the way to the bottom of this island. You only saw like a little tiny, like the surface level of it. And after he killed them all, he's like, I need another way to protect my island. And he looked into some other options, and necromancy gave him an option to access the Sea of Souls and to create a barrier of souls that would prevent anybody from entering to the island. And when he did that, he accessed Hades, and Wrath, the demon Wrath, took that as an opportunity to grab onto his consciousness and to try to possess him. And from that point forward, there was 2 battles of consciousness, Wrath and Ulvidore. And Ulvidore kept being beat out, so he would just have to wait for a little bit, maybe a week or 2, let Wrath do whatever he wanted with his consciousness, and then when he gained back some strength, come in and try to do something. That's where he would come in and take the Gem of War and put it in the Bag of Devouring to throw him off his mission of creating war, his general to command his army, pestilence to destroy, to create plagues and destroy people's livestock and stuff like that. And then death itself to control death and bring back the dead and that kind of shit. And together he would have an ultimate empire, and he would not destroy and conquer the world, but like create his own empire of dead.
Yeah.
Essentially, and be a king of in and of itself. Because he got tired of rolling under Hades in Hades.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you want to just take some turkey?
Yes,
Please,
absolutely.
please.
Yeah.
How did Talia change with Yao?
Yeah, I want to know that too.
Oh yeah.
Sorry. I kind of like
No, you're fine.
took it there for a second just as an opportunity.
As if she couldn't be a happier person, I think she is going to be she's very focused on helping out her friends. I mean, she hasn't had the big conversation with Vonnegut yet, but I think the big question is, do I stay or do I go? Yeah, exactly.
This is what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, she really wants to be with her lady, but at the same time, it'd be kind of fucked up to just
Leave the group.
Peace.
That is something I thought about. I was like,
I mean, you are the DM, so like, it's like if you want.
Do you want to play a new character?
Right, you could create a new character where you just like,
yeah, but
she goes off and that's her arc. Like,
do you guys like having her around? I think
Yes,
is a
absolutely.
big question.
Oh, 100%.
She's very important to Quantum.
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
And Corey, like, really.
Maybe keep saving.
But yeah, I think that's. I mean, it's pretty simple and straightforward. I think she has a good grasp of who she is, combining her old self with her new self, and
Yeah.
so.
We are going to see that conversation tonight, right? Damn it.
It's not just gonna be they have it at night and we wake up and the decision's been made.
Right. Oh my god.
We can all go hide over
We
there if
just
it makes
have
it
a
easier to have the conversation with yourself.
So, dear friends, I regret to inform you.
Just a note on the bed. No, we don't even say goodbye.
Be like, nope, we're going after them. I deserve
It's
goodbye.
just during the rest of the campaign as I was tracking you down. You didn't say goodbye.
Okay, whatever you guys want.
That's rude.
Thank you.
Quantum has zero idea how to fly an airship. He will take it from Marina and go after her.
But I will say that I think the funnest thing was thinking about how Ivanova has changed since the end of campaign 2.
How has one of us changed?
Right, yeah.
So I mean, I thought a lot about that, like of the weeks leading up to. Where I think she's still like a little impatient, but she's learned a lot more leadership skills, which is why I took like the skill feat, so that way I could learn some more like insight and persuasion and stuff like that. So I think, like, and I did go back and listen to some stuff from campaign 2 where she was talking, and I was like, well, I don't want her to be as rough around the edges, but she's still very sarcastic, and she will talk a big game, but it's actually usually the opposite of how she feels about herself. But I think that was the biggest difference, was just her being more of a leader this time around. And being annoyed when things don't go her way.
Definitely annoyed with Ash quite a bit.
Yeah.
Rightfully so, but
I was thinking about this recently, actually, especially because, like, the premise of why Elenial and Gwynlian were in the Feywild is because they were looking for Ash. Gwyn had scrying, so she could have located Ash at any point. Whoops.
Scrying is a cool one.
well, but it
Right,
depends
it's
on how well you knew Ash before
Oh
Ash
no,
left.
it is a roll, and honestly, if you left
Chris?
anything of yours at any like point in Nardorf, I could use that to lower the spell DC.
Yeah, I know.
And
I have
it-
scrying.
Yeah. It
Ash
was
is
just
that's
really
right.
one
Do
and
you guys
done.
want apple crisp to take home?
I'm
Sure.
good, thank you.
Did you not like it?
I just don't want to take any home.
Okay.
I don't have room in my fridge.
Okay, that's fair. I'll cry when I get home.
We have 2 extra adults that are currently living in my house, and they have packed our fridge because they didn't think to go through their stuff before they moved in, and so we have no room for anything.
Roll new character.
Remember when Ash went to 0 HP last session? She actually died.
She actually died.
She didn't get managed properly.
There was a mix-up.
Will Ash's pronouns ever be revealed? She, he, they've been both.
Well, it's supposed to be. Ash isn't supposed to have a.
Yeah, which I didn't expect you to take it that direction, but I'm glad because it's cool.
And it's funny because I've noticed that you guys will sometimes flip which pronoun you use.
I flip around all the time.
All the time, man.
One just
nobody
tries not to
knows.
use pronouns.
And at first, Ash would get like, I don't know if I'm
Flustered?
flustered, depending on which pronoun
Oh,
you would use.
yeah.
And now has just accepted their fate.
Yep.
What I
Because they don't have a gender. They physically do not have gender.
I don't know if you remember this or not, but Ash and Wander both, and probably Talia, both all still have the rabbit ring from Curly's. So at any given point, we could just like
Turn
go
into a bunny?
a Playboy bunny essentially.
From Curly.
Yes, from
Curly's
Bar.
billiard.
I forgot. I missed that.
That was during your fight night when they were helping out as the girls. They were given a ring to make them look like bunnies.
Yeah.
Wander never gave hers back. I don't know if they did. Wander did not.
I don't think anybody gave them back.
No.
I know.
I don't even think I put it in my inventory.
Yeah, I don't
yet.
think they asked for him back after the fight.
So I can turn into a Playboy bunny at any time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll put this in the fridge for you guys.
Thank
That'll
you.
make it interesting with those potions I've got.
Won't it though?
Oh,
Won't it though?
Marina! Ash has a surprise get up for you.
Oh boy.
And I love that the one that I random rolled, and the one that I got was the submission one when I first tried
I'm
it.
really excited to see the play out of you not remembering, like Ash not remembering the conversation with Marina. But Ash
I
being
love you.
like, I love you. It's gonna be like shit. I'm excited for that. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I have no memory of anything that
But we told Ash that she told Marina, I love you. You're just confused, like, when? I didn't do that.
Yeah, I didn't want her to go blindsided. But...
The food was amazing.
Yes,
Absolutely.
everyone did great.
Thank you very much.
Take more turkey.
More?
Her family's coming up on Wednesday, and
My
they're
dad is
smoking a
gonna
whole nother
smoke
turkey.
an entire
I
turkey.
know, I'm going to.
So, we will have so much turkey. If you want more, take more.
You want? No, I was with that. I was like an idiot.
What? What'd you say?
Nothing. I'm not going to substitute.
I think I wanted apple crisp to take home.
No, no, that would have been smarter.
Also take rolls, please, because Otherwise, I will just eat them in
What
the
are
middle of
two
the night.
rolls?
Oh,
2 rolls.
excellent. They are legitimately my favorite, Sister Schubert.
What were you gonna ask me? Now I need to know.
You're
Come on. We're all friends here.
You wanted to take some turkey home. Like I said. It was stupid.
Not his best moment.
Yes.
Let's put it like that. Positive light.
I've been asked worse.
So she's
Do
trying to
you
help.
need a Winston for the night?
Oh yeah, thanks.
It's just
It's
a
on the
cat.
airship. Yeah. What if we play with Rayon? Well, they've had time to actually get to know each other. Would you say Winston gets along with Rayon? Okay,
Yeah,
'cause
he gets along with anybody,
Right,
as
okay.
long as they're nice to Marina.
I didn't know if he had like maybe a special fear of
He's-
dragons or something.
No, he's got. He's actually immune to being frightened, which
Oh,
I was hoping that would come up during the list day where they tried to frighten
Right.
him. He just- Because technically, at this level, Marina's supposed to get a higher level animal, but I'm like, in character, she's not going to part with Winston. So I gave him some other like special abilities. I mean, obviously he can fly. Most otters can't do that.
I wanted to ask, how does Quantum, like I know Quantum doesn't really experience like emotions really, but like how does he feel about the fact that he's getting significantly more powerful with his magic and stuff? He's like crafting or like copying down way more wizard spells
Let's
and stuff.
see. I think it's big part of. He's very interested in the opportunities that it will provide him by being able to do these things. He has more options of what he can do to accomplish his goals.
I see. So like every time he like reaches a new level, it like opens up all these other doors.
Yes.
Like, oh, now I can do all this stuff.
Yes.
I see. Nice. So he just sees it as just opportunities and
You have more freedom to do as he needs or wants, and less restricted.
does he care at all? Like that his master might be impressed? Does that drive him at all?
I don't think
Pleasing his master like that, or like,
maybe not please the master, but better able to find and protect him.
oh yeah, okay, I can see that. Be more useful to
Yeah.
the master, to your master.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Just trying to get in the mind of Quantum.
Oh, it's a scary place.
Yeah, it's an interesting place because it's not like other people that are driven by certain motivations. His is purely like they're like logical and analytical. And then I was going to ask Wander, how do you feel about all the developments? How does she feel about all the developments with Lilith? Because that was like a lot of development. Where like you guys left and it was just kind of like, oh, she bought the airship? Holy shit. And like, okay,
letters?
that's a big thing. And then the letters and then like happening with,
sending?
right, and then somebody makes a wish on your behalf. And like now you like experience it. So Wander doesn't know about that, right? Still?
Okay, so the thing is that in some of the letters between them, Lilith has said some things that have probably made her go, wait.
Okay, so giving you an inkling into that maybe somebody
Something
done
has
something.
changed, but she's not entirely sure. She also definitely didn't intend for this to become like an actual relationship, so we're gonna see how she's gonna handle that. I don't think she's against it at
Are
this
they
point.
in a relationship?
I've got no idea. It's definitely more of a relationship than she was anticipating.
Right.
We can say that comfortably.
And do you still like being in charge with the music, or do you want me to do it?
If you have like music you want me to play,
I mean, it's the same
Same things?
place set, or
no, I like doing it.
okay. I just
enjoy
make
it.
sure.
Yep, enjoy doing it.
That way you can start playing Careless Whisper on the saxophone whenever needed.
There you go. Yes. What colors do you want for moonlight?
Sky blue.
Also, let me know whenever you want me to go get the things.
Okay.
Oh, I'm terrified.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh yes,
Do you-
all the things.
Do you have candles?
Yeah, I gotta grab all the D&D stuff.
Gotcha.
Do you need help with
The
that?
things
Yeah,
are
do you
in
need
the
any
car.
help? Okay. Did you check out the
Extra pair,
recycling, by the
extra pair
way?
hands.
Yeah, extra pair of hands won't hurt.
It only hurts if they slap you.
Oh, I need a long rest.
One second.
No, you need to look at my deck save.
God bless.
Look at my sleight of hand. Look at my sleight of hand.
God bless.
What's your sleight of hand? Oh god.
Plus 15.
Yes.
Because I took expertise in it.
Fuck yeah, I love expertise.
I would have played it a little differently now, but like it's great. I love it. My seduction is also +9 now.
Oh yeah, did our proficiency bonus go up this level?
Oh, it did, didn't it?
Yep, so we're up to +5.
5. Oh
Yep.
my god.
Would we have gotten a long rest in between this last session and this session, or are we just playing directly in?
Or playing directly in.
Okay, sounds great.
Don't worry, we'll get to that.
Amazing.
Okay.
Do you want a hands to grab real quick?
I'm thinking of where I want to set this.
Yeah, we need to kind of adjust things. Jackson boy.
Can you just put those over there? I like how I said I was gonna take them over there and I just handed them to you instead. My focus was on the lights. I don't know what else to say.
I had a question about shopping for the table. Does everybody like the way I run it, or would you rather it be quicker? Would you rather just give me the list of stuff you want, or do you guys like interacting with the shopkeepers?
I like interacting
I like
with the
interacting.
shopkeepers.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad you guys feel that way.
It gives me an opportunity to try and bargain.
Yep, and it gives you potential, like, if there's information or something about the town
Hey
or
Trey,
something like
you might
that,
have to move.
you can always
Okay.
toss it in there. And
So
we
I
never
know,
know
like-
if you're doing that.
I
You
know
can
shopping
more,
is
Trey.
not for
You can
everybody, but it seems like everybody at the table at least enjoys it.
Yep.
All right.
Alright, so that is the end of Behind the Scenes.
That mid-season wrap-up.